starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. We are starting our Amazon Q&A. Webby, this is Easter weekend. We'll start with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And Liz, do we need an extra prayer for the Blue Devils?
Yeah, we probably do, but I think they'll be fine.
All right. So you think they've got it covered? Maybe
Yeah.
for the final.
Yeah, they might need one for the final. Depends on who's against them.
All right. We hear. All right. So if you want extra love from Liz today, let's get a hashtag Blue Devils in the in the comment. We got the pin post up here for our Amazon Q&A Webby. Hashtag Blue Devils. Let's bribe Liz with some positive energy and some love. We're here with of course Liz Danger Girl Herrera, and we also have Susan McDowell. Susan, are you there?
I am here.
All right, great. So we're getting a few hashtag Blue Devils. I don't know if we've got some partisan stuff out there. There may be some people not rooting for the Blue Devils. There may be people with grudges against Blue Devils, or there may be something like that. But looks like we're at least getting a decent amount of support here. We've got some exciting stuff today. We're gonna be doing we're gonna begin this webinar with question and answer, and then what we're also gonna do is we're gonna see how far Q&A takes us, and then maybe half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour into it, we're going to get into what we think one of the core pillars, maybe the core pillar of your success on Amazon is going to be. It's different than what other people are talking about. It may be a little bit in the ether. It may kind of sound like something that you might have heard about, but we're really going to be doing it different, and we're going to have some different technology involved. This has been something that's been critical for Liz's success. Susan actually has become an expert on this, and she's somebody with very powerful resources. So we're going to be talking about the Amazon version of the PBN. So that's going to be literally very exciting. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here at the beginning. I'm going to jump into the Project Breakthrough members area, and let's have a look there. We have several new updates today in Project Breakthrough, so that's exciting. As you know, with OMG, you get immediate access, of course, to the full training, which you already have access to, and that's just a tremendous thing. And then you get ongoing. I should say you get an immediate advantage, with your training area, and the whole purpose of that is to get you dialed into people who are just having like a lot of success. I mean, that's really what I wanted when I got started with internet marketing. Was I just wanted to be around successful people and to see what they did, not to have them quote unquote rub off on me, but to actually see what they did. How did they click their mouse? Like what are the things that they focused on? How did they run their SEO? How did they do their pay-per-click? How did they convert visitors into customers? How did they organize things? So I wanted that advantage, and you really get that immediately when you jump in to OMG. That's your immediate advantage, and then we have an ongoing overwhelming advantage. This coaching is an example of that, where you're able to come on and get your biggest questions answered. In this case, primarily about Amazon. Of course, as always with Amazon, we're building a full bridge between Amazon and the rest of your training, and that's becoming, by the way, more and more important. There was this Wall Street Journal article. I wonder if I can find it on Google really quickly. WSJ Amazon. Let me just type Amazon. Let me see, Dish Network. See if I can pull the article up. Amazon made a major announcement this weekend. I think that this is, no, it's not here. So basically, Amazon rolled out a major thing where they're going to be competing with Yelp, with Craigslist. Should have had this. This is a news article in in the Wall Street Journal, and I believe somebody posted it. Here we are. Amazon wants to be your home service middleman. It's kind of interesting, like even regardless of whether you are involved with SEO client consulting or not. If you're in Amazon, the funny thing is that by having these skills, these Amazon skills that we're gaining, you can immediately become. I actually I don't do too many small clients nowadays, but my personal trainer is a client of mine. I mostly just focus on agencies and stuff like that with national SEO. And I was telling my personal trainer about this, and he's like, "Gosh," he's like, "I never would have found out about that if it weren't for you." So basically, what's going on is that Amazon wants to start. Of course, like right now, an Amazon page might be for for an iPhone cover or for a new pair of headphones or for a cup or something like that. For physical products, that's what Amazon listings are for. But now, Liz, they're going to be doing for local businesses. So your personal trainer, they can list him, handyman services. They've already signed up Dish Network and TaskRabbit. And Liz, these same skills that we're using, especially when it comes to getting reviews, because what they're doing is essentially competing head to head with Groupon, Angie's List, Yelp, and they're looking to take those guys' business. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not sure yet like how they're going to do it. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure if you know this already or Susan does, but would somebody like a top 10,000 reviewer actually, are those the people that are going to be leaving reviews for these kinds of like services?
Isn't that sick?
Oh, that is sick then. So basically what's happening is like somebody, say, with Mandy Payne's type of authority can quickly leave a Yelp review for a restaurant or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super sick.
Yeah, it's super sick. Yeah, and all these skills that you're gaining, this is one of the reasons why we say it's just kind of easier and easier to make money with OMG. It was always, in my opinion, it's always been very easy, but it's really just kind of gotten particularly silly almost, because once you're able to do one thing well, get up one Amazon listing that's making, even $50 a day in sales, it's essentially game over because you're now 80 to 90% of the way to hitting on every single other thing that we do inside of OMG, to being able to do client consulting, to being able to do affiliate marketing, to be able, of course, to expand your Amazon business and grow it, to be able to partner with product like Jack Carvell does, to be able to do Amazon client consulting. So there's so much out there. So essentially what's going to happen is, let's say my personal trainer would then be able to list himself on Amazon or get a consultant to list him on Amazon. And then people could purchase training packages. Amazon would take their 15 to 30% or whatever the amount's going to be. And then they're going to be able to plug in additional services, additional things like, oh, well, you're buying personal training with Darren. Maybe you want Nike running shoes, right? It's pretty sick. And Amazon's excited about this because that's going to give them a lot more data to sell Nike running shoes. So this is going to be a big deal. And I just kind of want to point that out, how there's a reason why we're building a full bridge. It's not just for fun. So anyways, here's the breaking news feed for today, April 4th. Big stuff today. First of all, assimilation is going to continue with Cotton on Wednesday. And he's got Wyatt Riot. I come up with the best names, Liz. Like, who else would come up with Wyatt Riot?
Right, Wyatt's actually, he is a riot.
Yes. Yes. So we got Wyatt Riot. And Wyatt's going to be talking about retargeting, which is going to be really, really cool. I highly recommend that everybody, if you're interested in Amazon, you need to be paying attention to retargeting. It's very powerful. You're going to want to jump on this webinar with Cotton. Then last night, me and Greg were up late. We were burning the midnight oil to bring you your third and final March Mastery SEO Webby. And I think I did most of the heavy lifting. I mean, I didn't really talk much, but I was there for moral support. And that's the hard part, really, if you think about it. But Greg did go ahead and drop a number of bombs. It was really cool. The whole March Mastery series was incredible for SEO. Again, you're really, one of your big touchstones is going to be that 2015 Over the Shoulder series for Iowa City SEO, and you just got to kind of follow along over Greg's shoulder. as you rank this site number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 for Iowa City SEO. And I think we're actually recording the Twitter page somewhere as well. And then we also during that series, Greg actually out of nowhere, me and Greg and Joe actually ranked the website number 1 for Iowa. Or sorry, not number 1. Number 1 in the Google Maps for Iowa SEO. Also number 3 for the YouTube video, and our Yelp page is right here, and our Facebook page is right here. So 4 out of the top 10 listing, not too shabby. That all happened live during that webinar series, so that was really cool. And then we've got this a brand new video in the Hydro Feet Over the Shoulder Amazon series on FFP with Mike and Liz. Liz, you really threw down in this series with Mike Bittler. Just in case people don't know about this OTS series on Hydro Feet for Kids, can you give people a quick background on it? All right, guys, you scared off Liz. There weren't enough.
I think we lost you, Mike.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, actually, your audio's choppy. I think no. There's a couple people also that are saying when you scroll up your screen, your audio breaks up. Right. Yeah, so a lot of people saying that you keep cutting out.
Okay, let me see if I can address that with a Blue Yeti. See what happens. I'll be right back. All right, is that any better?
It's not really when you just talk like statically. It's mainly when you move around your mouse and stuff. Like scroll up. When you scroll up on the page, you're chopping out.
All right. So no more scrolling, guys. I promise. I won't scroll anymore.
Yes, the Hydro Feet thing. The Hydro Feet thing. I think that's what you were asking, and then you cut out, right?
It is.
Okay, so the Hydro Feet thing. The really cool thing about the Hydro Feet thing is it's doing 2 major things. It's showing people how to use flat files to upload a listing, which are huge. I'm sure those of y'all who have actually had products on Amazon will realize that every once in a while your listing will lock up and you won't actually be able to change anything on it. And when you actually learn how to do list stuff with the flat file, that'll never happen. So when you actually call up Seller Central and you get somebody that knows what they're talking about, which is very rare, they'll actually use a flat file to make your changes. So it's a way to sort of like force changes into a listing. And the second thing that it teaches is it teaches people how to, number 1, convert a product to FFP if they're having a lot of problems with hijackers, and or number 2, to begin a product with FFP if they anticipate there could potentially be a product that would have a lot of problems with hijackers. And those are typically products that you source in China. So it takes you by it's like holding your hand step by step through every single part of the process. And Michael even shows the emails he sends out to Amazon and the pictures that he has to send in, and also how to actually do the packaging, which is really useful. And then at the end, he ties it all together by showing like the secret sauce that really hasn't been shown anywhere. And that's the actually creating a unique FFP ASIN only to the product. So he goes over all that just step by step, and it also includes like showing people how to do brand registry. So it shows you every single one of those steps, and it sort of like holds your hand through the whole process. So just by having that information, I mean, it's just pretty killer information that hasn't been shared anywhere else.
You know, speaking of information that hasn't been shared anywhere else, and it's also kind of a unique OMG exclusive. Just today, I believe this just hit the members area today. When you go to Amazon ranking training right here in the Amazon e-commerce section, this is brand new, and this is with James. Is this? Let me make sure this is what I'm thinking it is. I think it's right here. Nope. Give me 1 second to figure out exactly where things are. By the way, I myself take my time to master the members area, really to understand it. It's very, very valuable.
I think that was super sick, though. That's actually what I thought it was. Amazon ranking training by Jimmy Kelly. I didn't even realize that was there. I'm going to go back and watch that myself.
Details. All right. So
yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to do after this webbie.
Definitely. Anytime you can get Jimmy Kelly to give you information about anything, it's sort of like it's just sort of like amazing.
Well,
Wow.
Anytime I talk to the guy, he's full of absolute like stunning tips that I would never have even known without talking to him.
yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, but that's a resource that folks should pay attention to. That every Tuesday we've got almost every Tuesday we've got Jimmy, Russell, and Stu for your office hours, and you can be asking Jimmy questions about ranking on Amazon, and he's amazing at it. So I had to reread the
I
section.
think your audio's cutting out again, Mike.
Copy again. Is it good now? Is it working now?
Yeah, it's working better. Are you hearing him okay, Susan?
He broke. Well, he broke. I heard him break up when you heard him break up, but
Okay.
now he's okay. So it's
When I scroll,
it's
yeah.
intermittent.
In this case, there was no way around it. But anyways, yeah, every Tuesday, you got Jimmy, Russell, and Sue. There may be a bit of a break here as they do CERT. So there may be a week or two where we don't see them as much. But anyways, so right here, I believe that it's going to be in this area. Yep, here it is. Boy, Liz, how exciting is this?
Right. James Harbaugh's tool, very exciting. It's something that I definitely use on brand new listings as well as listings that have been up for quite a while. And I also like to run it on my competition just to see what they're doing. And I think that getting his insight for like how the tool was designed and what it's actually pulling and the type of information is just like awesome to have that inside of there. So it was an awesome webinar that he also showed us a couple sneak peeks at some of the other stuff that he has coming out, which also looks like it's pretty amazing.
And the thing that we really take our time with OMG, we actually did a 2-hour pre-event with me and Liz and Michael Bittler and James Harbaugh to set things up, to set the stage, to discuss what we were going to cover, how best to cover it. And then we all broke up, did a bunch of work in the background. Then we reconvened, re-met to work together on this series that we recorded last week. And on top of that, Liz and Michael Bittler actually wrestled James Harbaugh down and hammerlocked him. Were you the hammerlocker? I remember we went through this. I think Liz was the actual one to hammerlock him. And
Yeah, I think I was the hammerlocker.
Liz was the hammerlocker. It all happened in a blur. And we have an exclusive, an OMG exclusive. I'm telling you guys, this is incredible. Liz got a 50% discount for you when you purchase your original software credits from James. Really makes it a steal of a deal. He's only ever done this one time before, which was for one day. It was on Black Friday. And this is an OMG exclusive. Liz, can you give people a quick idea how simple Keyword Inspector works, just so they can kind of have an idea before they dive in?
Sure. So what it basically does is James has developed a proprietary system that scrapes your competitors' listings and as well as yours if you want it to, and it will sort of tell you what all the keywords that it's actually optimized for and which of those keywords are actually responsible for the most volume on that particular listing, and then it'll put them in order of most important to least important. So when you see like a successful listing that's potentially like that, if it's ranking higher than you, what you can do is go ahead and scrape that particular listing and then see what keywords they're actually ranking for. And you can take that and put it into, say, something like merchant words and get an idea of what keyword volume is involved in that. And so it can give you ideas for keywords for your own product. And that's about all what I use it for, as well as on my own product. I like to also scrape my own product so I can just see if I'm doing a good job of targeting the keywords that I really want to be targeting and get an idea of keywords that I didn't actually realize that I was targeting so that I can jot those down and then maybe use them in pay-per-click or something like that. So that's generally what it does.
And this can also matter when it comes to our Amazon pay-per-clicks, which we're going to be getting into as early as this next week with Jack, with the gentleman Jack Harbell, and and also, of course, it's going to impact on your SEO. So there's a lot of factors that are involved with this. It's going to be a really, really cool guide. And at the end of this event, if you hang with us after we're done with our questions, we're going to be discussing another concept and as well as another software that's also going to blow your doors off. So if you're fired up about all this, as we get into questions, let's it was Liz and Michael Bittler that put this together for us. So give us a hashtag Liz in the NHB team Facebook group in that in our pinned post if you're fired up.
And one of the other things that's real cool about Simple Keyword Inspector is it's not like a monthly sort of like tool that you have to pay for by month. You pay for the credits that you actually use to scrape. So that's kind of like really cool about it. But on one other note, all the stuff that I basically like recommend like you guys do or whatever you choose that you want to do is stuff that I actually use in my business. It's not like things that I don't actually use. It's actual tools that I'm using on a daily basis. And I know if we were to ask Susan, I'm pretty sure Susan would agree that she uses Simple Keyword Inspector. It's just like sort of, if she wants to touch on that, she can go right ahead.
No, it's actually a great tool. And one of the great uses for it that I haven't heard mentioned yet is in evaluation of opportunities. Because if you are looking at products and can see that there are money keywords that the competitors' listings are not targeting, that's a great way to realize that there's room for you to go in there. So not just on your existing products, but when you're looking at prospective products and looking at the people that are currently doing them, it can give you a real leg up in finding a hole to stick yourself right into before you've committed to a product.
Yeah, it's a really great point, Susan, because if you're sitting there and looking and saying, well, this such and such is selling a widget. Let's just make it a widget for the sake of argument. They're selling a widget and it's making a lot of money, and I really feel like that could make me a lot of money too. But then if you go and you find out that their main 2 or 3 keywords that they're making most of their money on is in something that's hyper competitive, and you're not currently ready to enter into that market, well then there you go. Like maybe it's not such a great place to go, for example. So that's a great point, Susan. So what we want to do here at this point is that's a little bit of housekeeping. There's a lot going on. As always, we have an immediate advantage when you join OMG with your membership area already stacked out, an ongoing advantage where we're adding this coaching that's there to answer your questions and connect the dots. Of course, every once in a while, like a new software will come out, or we're able to negotiate a new opportunity or get new insights from, let's say, a software developer in this case, and then we'll add that to your members area. That's a wonderful update, and we continue updating you for at least a year. Although realistically speaking, even people that joined us back in 2012 obviously are still getting updates, so that's kind of good news. And then there's really a permanent advantage. You get lifetime access to this members area, lifetime access to our extraordinary Facebook group, and that's just something you can kind of take to the bank. So one of the things I'm going to do in the OMG Masters area, we had a couple questions from people who might not have been able to make it today, so I wanted to check those first as we get started so I don't forget them. I think it was just one question from Todd Bennett. I thought there was a question from Todd Bennett in there about something about pay-per-clicks, which again we'll be covering those shortly. Like basically we're going to be. Actually, I think he might have been asking about Liz's some of the special things that Liz is doing with video. And again, we'll be covering that very soon. So we're not going to cover that today, but it basically involves using the Wirecast videos like we're using, backlinking to it, and then what Liz is doing is she's running paid ads to them, and we'll get into how we do that and exactly how it works and the technique for it. But it's really slick, and we'll get into it as we go. So what we'll do now is we'll step into questions Q&A. And you'll be able to ask your questions on Amazon, and also you can ask questions on where something is or how things integrate, how something might relate with we'll try to have things at least be somewhat Amazon related on this webinar. It can certainly be a little bit of a crossover question, like, how does such and such relate back to SEO client consulting or affiliate marketing or something about SEO. We'll do our best on that. So you can post your questions, and what I'll do is I'll try to go through the questions, and I'll also try to post them up here. Am I gone again, or am I back?
No, I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Great. Ralph said I was gone again. Okay. So let's see here. David Fripp asked this question. What I'll try to do, it's always a little bit of a trick to figure out the best way for us to post questions so you can visually see them. Let's see here. So let me
just really quick though on that video question. I think that Joe Marfolio, I think that's who I heard is the one that uploaded the how to do the Wirecast thing.
Yeah.
Is that right, Mike?
That is correct.
If they actually just go to that training already, like they'll already know enough to more than likely get it on page 1, especially if they use buyer keywords like things like best cell phone cases or best cell phone chargers or cell phone charger reviews, or you really got to dig down deeper if you're in the cell phone niche, like best cell phone case for the iPhone 6 Plus, or something like that. So you just want to combine Joe's training with picking buyer keywords, and then mainly sort of like writing copy with your YouTube title and getting them to click there. But just knowing that alone, you should be able to rank on either page 2 or page 1 somewhere.
Yeah.
More than likely, it's page 1.
Yeah, and especially if you combine it with like a YouTube embed on one of your private blog networks. I mean, now you're going to really skyrocket it. And then Liz is going to get into how to use paid traffic to really bolster it even more. So it's a pretty and not very expensive paid traffic, particularly very cheap. So that's in your video training with Joe. And again, there's a reason why we ask you to go through that 2015 over the shoulder series on Iowa City SEO, because you really see us do it right then and there. Of course, you were doing the SEO in a different market, but that doesn't change the SEO. And Joe actually created what Liz was talking about with using more long tail keywords. If you have something like cup, if you go and try to rank for cup, it's not going to get you very far, right? Maybe more something like, best Christmas gift cup or something like that would be a little bit better.
Right. Plus, nobody's actually searching for cup to buy a cup, so you got to pick buying keywords like best or reviews or top rated. If you actually do a search on Google, there's a lot of pretty good blog posts that people have put up that are talking about buyer keywords. Yeah,
and that's one of the things. Actually, Joe shot a video for those of you who sent in a review for Mandy, and I'll be getting more of those out, and maybe I'll take that video and actually post it in the members area at some point, because there's a great walkthrough on how to pick keywords and so forth. For those of you that aren't very used to doing SEO and you're pretty unaccustomed to doing keyword research, when we go out on Google, being very general with our keywords isn't typically that smart. It's not typically the best use of our resources. We want to drill down a little bit more and get to keywords that are going to make us more money. Like, for example, me and Greg made a lot of money. Like back when, I'll give you an example. We made a lot of money on this. Back when P90X and Insanity were really running a lot of infomercials. I guess they still run a fair amount, but it was really in the heyday of P90X and Insanity. These are both workouts. Then we were ranking all over the place for P90X versus Insanity, and this is a great example of a buyer keyword. Such and such versus such and such. Okay, so P90X is one brand, Insanity is another brand, and then we were in the middle taking commissions on both. So that's a great example of a buyer keyword. Also, new products coming out and so forth. You have to be a little bit careful, obviously, with Amazon when it comes to using brand names. But anyway, so that's a little bit more insight on buyer keywords. So here's a question that came in from, and if you have more questions about keywords, you can just kind of keep asking them. That's fine. This is from David Fripp. David said, are any of the software options being created to also cover Amazon.co.uk? Liz, we're working on actually like kind of almost like a nuclear option, like a very powerful option for when it comes to Europe. That's something that's probably gonna have to wait. By the way, the countdown has begun for China. Give us a hashtag China if you're excited about me and Liz heading off to China. It's a pretty exciting thing coming up. We'll actually be leaving. Is it a week? Is it a week from tomorrow?
Yeah, I actually leave on Thursday, so it's coming quick.
Yeah. So Liz and I are actually going to be boarding a plane, and we're going to be there. There's going to be several OMGers going with us. We're going to be going with Kevin Jin, who you're going to meet soon. I'm actually really excited for you to meet Kevin Jin. Also, Larry's going to be there. We met Larry, I believe it was last week, and you got to see his cool video, what he's doing with his Jersey City chiropractic. But Larry's going to be going with us, and
We got Michael Bittler.
oh my, that's right, Michael Bittler's coming with us. This is gonna be sick. Yeah, so Michael Bittler's coming with us, and what we're gonna be doing is shooting a documentary on product getting. Actually, why don't you give us a hashtag product getting? Because we think this is gonna be a real advantage for you, product getting, and we're also gonna be looking at supplier getting. So you can give us both those hashtags, supplier getting. It's going to be really exciting. I don't think this has ever been done, this kind of a documentary. We're going to be gone for 3 weeks. We're really throwing down for you. We're going to the Canton Fair. We're also going to be going off to Hong Kong, and it's just going to be really, really, really exciting. We've got Howard is coming along with us. We're really, really excited about Howard's help. That's going to be critical. Howard Chen, his father and mother have actually been buyer's agents for over 30 years. And Howard's he's an OMGer. He's now got a successful product listed on Amazon. He's actually come on one of our acceleration webinars recently. So that's going to be really, really exciting. Anyways, in terms of the Amazon.co.uk, to forecast a little bit, Liz, we're working on an option to really help even people in America completely move into the EU to be able to sell in Amazon UK, Italy, Spain, and of course France, and the big one, Germany.
Right, and that's we've teamed up with a couple people that are probably the foremost experts on doing this and how to set up your entities and all that, and they're going to jump on with us probably starting in early May as soon as we get back. So I have talked to them, and they're going to. I'm supposed to message them back when we're back from China, so that's set for probably mid-May to June to start actually showing people how to do that.
You know, and I mentioned earlier, the idea, generally the way that OMG is organized. You know, we have your immediate advantages, which is, where you're already starting with a membership area that's just absolutely stacked, just stacked, and you're getting just information. You're learning what top money getters, just successful money getters are doing. People making $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $300,000 a month are doing what they're actually doing. Okay, not what we think you want to hear, but what people are actually doing, and that's in your membership area. It includes over-the-shoulder training, explanations, details, resources. So that's your immediate advantage. But we also have ongoing or advantages, and this what we're doing with the UK stuff and the EU, like UK, Germany, like allowing you to get into to get into the EU, and this includes for US. This, you don't have to live in Europe to take advantage of this, but this is the kind of example of something that was not available before. In fact, it's not even currently available. It's something that we're working together with somebody else to make possible, to kick down the barriers to entry and to make possible for you. We've actually been working on this now for almost a month, and we met with these guys. We traveled to meet with them. We spent a lot of time with them, and we're working on that in the background. So that's going to be something that's really going to be terrific for you. And again, if something new comes up, if a new changes comes out, that's something where having that kind of ongoing advantage, having those updates, then that really matters. And of course, we guarantee your ongoing advantage for at least a year. And realistically speaking, even people that joined us all the way back in 2012 are still enjoying an ongoing advantage. And then of course you get a permanent advantage because you get to keep access to your membership area forever. You get to keep access to your wonderful community groups. And finally, again, there's even people that joined us all the way back in 2012 that are on this webinar with us right now. So I just kind of want to keep that in mind, just a little bit to help keep you oriented to what's going on. So David, coming soon in terms of that, the various softwares and stuff like that, we're not always able to get people into the, we're not always able to get people to have their software interface with, say the UK version of Amazon, where we can and when we can. We try to use our positioning and our power to make that possible. But we do have something really, really particularly powerful coming when it comes to the EU stuff. Okay, so I've got a question from Keith Baxter. I've actually known Keith. Gosh, Keith, how long have I known you? I've known Keith since probably 2005, 2006. So it's great to see you in here today. And here is Keith's question.
While you put that out there, Mike, just real quick, going back to that EU thing, one of the things that I really love about these guys is that they already know all the tax implications and all the type of structure that you need over there. So they're kind of like experts in that area. And so they're going to help you avoid a lot of those. Like, there's a way that they can get your first 15,000 in VAT taxes, or I'm not sure exactly how it goes.
It was like the first almost. Actually, I think it's $120,000 US in sales tax free, and this is really important. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the other really amazing thing is I know they told me, like, that's one thing that you do not want to mess with.
Yeah.
You think the IRS is bad? They said that Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs is like even worse. So the way that they do it, it helps you sort of avoid some fees, and
legally, by the way, like fully within the law, like fully within the law, where you'd just be really harming yourself otherwise. And this is, by the way, part of the reason why we don't just slosh around. We don't just hear about something and we're like, oh, that's great, and then immediately get it out to you, because we really vet things. We take our time and make sure that it's just really well done, so it's actionable, from day one.
And it works also for all of Europe. So it's like seven of their platforms all together in one. They sort of like help you get everything together so that you can distribute to 7 different networks just within one like platform.
It's going to be really exciting, because if you have, in a lot of cases, you'll have a product that's working well. Let's say, for example, that's already working well in the U.S. market, where you'll be able to immediately even double your sales, almost overnight. So, and of course, there's going to be some things that sell even better in Europe. There's going to be some things that don't sell as well, and it'll depend a little bit on the markets and so forth. But the bottom line, and by the way, again, we're building a full bridge between our Amazon stuff and our and the rest of OMG. If you want to talk about easy peasy keywords, go over to Google Italy and try to rank for something. I mean, you're not exactly competing with Greg Morrison and Jimmy Kelly over there. So that's it's a little bit of a tip for you guys.
Okay, so Keith's question. This is pretty common when you're in like those big
oh, whoops.
Like niche, niche.
A little bit of a, we got a little bit of a.
Yeah, when you're in like a gigantic niche. So there's a couple things that you can actually do that I've actually had to do, because I'm in some of these big niches, and I'll get these kinds of people that are leaving negative reviews. Sometimes they're not smart enough about it. It really depends on what I've done in the past is like, I've gone as far as to actually myself, I've gone in there and looked to see if there's any sort of footprint that they're leaving, like sort of like almost investigating what the kind of reviews they're leaving. And the things that I'm looking for is, for starters, are they only leaving it on your product? if you can actually prove that that person is leaving multiple reviews on multiple people's products, I've written an email to seller support, and they've actually taken these listings off. I'm sorry, the reviews off. So that's one thing you can do. And again, that can be a little bit time consuming, and a lot of times just depending on the velocity that they're leaving those reviews on, I won't even bother with that. The second thing, and this is where what we're going to talk about at the end of this webinar, which is the private review club, becomes increasingly important. But you can actually almost have like reviewers on tap, where if he's leaving you like a massive amount at once, like, you know, let's say he's doing a couple a day, you can also do giveaways of so many per day. That way you can kind of negate what he's doing. But ultimately, I think if he's actually doing it that regularly, and you can sort of prove that there's, like, he's doing it regularly a certain amount per day, and these happen to be people that are not reviewing any other thing, I think you'd have a pretty good case to write into Seller Central and show them this, and they can see, especially going to be a footprint if they're only reviewing your product and leaving it a negative review, or they're reviewing other weight loss products as well in the same niche and leaving a negative review. So that's where I'd ultimately start, but at the same time I'd make sure that I'd start building a list of reviewers that I can have on tap. That way, when it happens and you get a wave of negative reviews, you can just quickly email them. And we talked about it a lot in the upcoming review sniper video that we did last couple days ago, I think. And we talked about having these reviewers on a list and being able to tap into them when you need their reviews.
Yeah. Go ahead, Susan.
No, just that's a really important benefit of having your own private review club, is being able to hold reviews on tap. The other thing is when you're in one of these popular niches, you need to be doing giveaways every week. So you need the reviews that are being held until you need them, but you also need the fresh crop of 5 stars coming in regularly, as well as you can also use your private review club to put comments on these negative reviews. I mean, it's one thing for you to comment and say, gee, I'm really sorry, you know, that you weren't happy with this. But once you've built your private review club and you have your raving fans, you'll suddenly get them sitting there and saying, gee, I don't know why you say that. You know, I found that, you know, this worked just fine and it didn't make me nauseous and, you know, it didn't do this. And are you sure you're looking at the right product?
Yeah. Did you even use the product? You know,
right.
like
because
yeah.
And if it's coming from 10 different independent people that have nothing to do with you, there's a lot more credibility. And then of course you can get the reviews voted down. But it all comes down to having your network of raving fans, which is building your own PRC.
Very powerful. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. Make sure you hang on till the end because we're going to really blow the doors off this. Blow the lid off this, so it's going to be exciting. So we're going to have a powerful, you know, a bit of a precursor answer there for you, Keith, and then much more to come as this event unfurls.
Yeah, and I think I would start, if he doesn't have a private review club yet, start by contacting Susan. She might be able to give away 25 of that. That way he can get 25 people that are interested in weight loss supplements. You know what I mean? So that would be a good start.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
Absolutely.
Okay, Laura says, is it okay to do social Fiverr gig directly to the canonical URL for your product description page, or is it better to do that to a web page that points to Amazon page? I don't have a PBN yet. Okay, so I checked this over with Greg, and so our current answer, I'm presuming that you got this information from Brad Mabry. Greg Morrison just looked over Brad Mabry's little starter game plan, and he okayed it. So it is okay to do it exactly the way that Brad's saying. I want to point out that Brad is not picking like a GSA blast that's sending a ton of spam links to your page. What he's doing is literally very few links. I think. Oops. Sorry, just getting a little bit of background noise there. So what Brad's doing in that particular case, and this is again for people that don't have PBNs yet, so that's perfectly fine. Getting started. He's sending literally very few links with those Fiverr gigs. I think that he added it up for me, and it was like a maximum of like 18 links or something like that. So you certainly wouldn't just go and get like, 10,000 links and send them to your canonical. You might want to do that to your competitor, but you wouldn't. No, I'm joking when I say that. But anyways, regardless, no, you would you would want to be very careful with it. If possible, you can certainly start by sending it to a social page, especially that's where a YouTube video can really come and weigh in. If you can get that video review from Mandy, let's say, for example, or other video reviews, and you can take that video and you can fire links to that video, and then the video can then link into your canonical. That can be a really great way of going. And of course, you can use more traditional OMG SEO and have like really good PBNs. I mean, that's really where. And if you're in one of these top hard competitive niches, you're gonna want to be doing more kind of OMG SEO. This the social and Fiverr gig stuff again would be a little bit more long tail stuff. That said, of course, these are Amazon is a lot more robust than sending links to, let's say, a brand new website that has no DA. So long story short, you can send the social Fiverr gig directly to the canonical URL. Lori, just to check with you, I think you're probably talking about Brad's blueprint that a few people got, Greg did check that over, and it does check out. Of course, ideally with the PBN. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Okay, we've got something from Jacob Scott here. And anytime like you need more of a follow-up, let us know here. This is kind of fun. Enjoying this Q&A stuff here. All right, so this is from Jake Scott. Question coming right now. All right, Liz. So Jake is researching a health product, and he noticed some sellers were able to get their product ranked bestseller for chamomile herbal supplements, and his product is a coffee bean extract. How is he able to get a product ranked in that category?
It just comes down to where you initially list it. So he chose to initially list it in chamomile herbal supplements because he noticed that he would never be able to get it ranked for, let's say, in the diet supplement area. So what he's just doing is listing it in a you'll see this a lot. There'll sometimes be cell phones and beauty because the cell phone market is so there's just so much competition, but you'll see a cell phone case wind up in an obscure beauty category, and then it'll get a #1 bestseller badge. So more and more, though, Amazon is cracking down on this and starting to actually throw irrelevant products out of categories that they don't belong in, and then they usually put them in a really general broad category. So it's, again, one of those like real gray hat things that you sort of have to decide what you want to do with. And it's just a trick ultimately to help conversion, because when people see a bestseller badge on your actual listing, it gives it a lot more authority, and obviously your conversion goes up. But back in the day, you also used to be able to actually get to be listed in 2 nodes. That way it would be in your primary node, and then you'd list it in a secondary node and get that bestseller badge. So in the case of this green coffee bean extract, they used to be able to list it both in the coffee bean extract node and then the chamomile herbal supplement node, and then have a bestseller badge for the chamomile herbal supplement badge. So again, they're really cracking down on this, but you're still going to see it quite a bit.
All right, great. This is from Yasmin.
I'm just going to make one comment.
Go ahead, Susan.
There are actually people have had their listings suspended if it's been too egregious. So it's something to be very careful with, because once you get your listing suspended or banned for something like that, it can be tough to have it recover.
Great point.
Good point.
Okay, so this is from Yasmin. I have a very basic question. What is the best way to build a very quick website to contact suppliers? Very basic site, nothing fancy. Where can I find those videos? That's in your big background training area and your web design area. And again, this is why we have the full bridge between Amazon and the rest of our OMG training. So there's a web design area, and you can use, if you're in Director's Cut or in Project Breakthrough, then I highly recommend the Director's Cut skin, just like you'll see on cottongrammar.com. It just looks so beautiful and so powerful, and it's really going to make you look professional. There's also Wild Country in there as well, which is what I use for Nashville SEO. Both are going to really make your site look fantastic. So both the background training section and your web design sections answer that. Jenna says, let's get Jenna's question here. Notice on the discount Botox deal site, that targeted different towns, had duplicate content for a town. Okay. So the great question. So Jen is talking about the over-the-shoulder series that we're rolling out for Elite Serum. Yep. And basically, we're using Chris Marshall's software. And currently, and for the last several years, the answer on these local keyword search terms is basically no. Like we have 26,000 pages indexed on that website, and it's getting a lot of traffic now. And we've used this again and again in market after market. There is talk that Google may clamp down and change things up. If and when they do, you're in the right place for us to be able to react to those changes, Jenna. Great question. Okay, Alice, who works with her husband, has a question. Let's get that up there for you. Liz, can you give me a timeline for applying FFP for an existing product? I mean, at what point will I be asked to remove our existing products?
It's typically, it sort of just depends. Like, I can tell you that I submitted a product around, I want to say it was mid-January, and it literally took a month and a half. What took the longest is actually the step where Michael Bittler talks about using the ASIN, converting the ASIN to be FFP only. That took almost a month by itself. So everything else was extremely fast except for that one part. So I was literally waiting for a month for that section to be approved. So I would say give it a month and a half. So like, let's say, and one of the criteria that they're going to have to get it through approval is for you to actually have, there should be no more inventory there at their warehouse. So I would say if you know what your typical, like how many units you're selling daily, like try and plan it out for a month and a half, and then when they tell you, hey, we just need you to clear out that inventory, you ship those back to yourself. So I would try to like maybe overshoot your average sales a little bit just to be on the safe side. And what you can do in that meantime is you can still merchant fulfill if you want to. That's basically what I did, and I waited until I got my actual approval. So we could probably even get a more accurate answer from Michael, depending on how long the HydraFeet one actually takes. So we kind of saw him submit everything step by step, and as soon as it's approved, what we'll do is we'll get him to tell us how long it actually took. If maybe perhaps it's speeding up, because the time that I actually submitted, it was right around the end of Christmas, so there could have been a backlog of stuff just because of the Christmas holiday.
All right, great. All right, this is from Norman. What content would Liz put inside of her videos? Just like a product review, what type of paid ads is she running, YouTube ad, in-stream ads? Well, first of all, and Paula was asking actually a similar question about the Wirecast. Listen, this is in Joe's training area. This is in your 2015 Over the Shoulder series. We have published these. There must be probably at least 2 or 3 places where these Wirestream trainings are in your members area. That they're in the Amazon OTS review series. You would really almost have to be kind of a little bit jumping around too much to have missed them, but that's okay. You'll find them in your 2015 Over the Shoulder series. You'll try in terms of exactly how to set up the video in your Amazon Over the Shoulder series for Elite Serum. Joe shows him actually setting up a video, so you can actually watch Joe do it, and it's also in Joe's area for the Wirestream. Generally, it's going to be a 300 or 400 page article. The article is probably not going to get read that much. I wouldn't put too much focus into it. Make sure it's unique content and that it's got your keywords in it and a few extra keywords. Just naturally write it. I just write them myself. And then in terms of paid ads, Liz, do you want to comment on this, or do you just want to wait until we get to that series?
Well, I actually want to comment on the video type because I think it is a good question. And then we'll save the rest for later. But in terms of the type of video that you want to do, you got a number of choices, and again, I'm still continually like testing out different styles of videos. So if I'm going to share the list of ones that I usually do, and then if anybody comes across one that works like real super for them, then it'd be great for them to share it with the whole community. But typically, what I'll do is I'll get either myself or somebody to do like an unboxing video, which are really popular. I'll also work on. I actually bribe customers to do video reviews for me. I do ones where I just paste customer reviews, or test like their 5-star reviews on a video as well, and kind of show those off. And then I also do like every now and then like a how-to or an informational style video. So I do a good mix, and again, I'm constantly testing the type of ones that I actually do, and seeing which ones work best. But really, it's sort of like you sort of have to just kind of be creative and kind of think of ways, and watch a lot of videos of what other brands are doing that have like a lot of views, and then sort of like model your videos after those. And you'll notice that sometimes the most ghetto ones actually work out better than ones that are like, you know, like I know a lot of other people say, hey, get a real nice video done or whatever, but a lot of times, especially the video testimonials from your own customers, I mean, there's nothing more powerful than getting a testimonial from one of your customers that's saying how much they love your product, because you know every product owner is going to say how awesome their product is, but they're obviously very biased.
Great. All right, this is from Jake Scott again. Is there a maximum number of times I can list the same product under different categories or for different keywords?
You can't list the same product multiple times if it's the same brand. And technically, you really, like, it happens all the time in retail arbitrage. Like, you'll see several listings for actual, like let's just take, like, Shopkins right now. They're super hot. So you'll see several listings for Shopkins, a single pack of Shopkins, because multiple people in the retail arbitrage space have done that. But what eventually winds up happening is Amazon recognizes that it's the same product, and at some point they condense them all into one. So you can't technically list the same brand for the same product multiple times, but what you can do is, first of all, create parent-child listings or multi-packs and do those. And the second thing that you can actually do is, if you know a niche works out real well, is you can launch multiple brands in the niche. So those are just two things that you can really do.
Okay, great. Keith, again, do you guys rank your super URLs?
So there's like a theory that ranking super URLs is better than just ranking the regular canonical, but I really haven't tested that extensively. It's kind of interesting that it might actually be better, but it sort of just depends, because I know, like, if you use super URLs, there's different types of super URLs. There's a super URL that's static and one that's dynamic. So if you just use a standard super URL, Amazon can tell that it's basically like a super URL. But there's now ones that, like with companies like AMZ Tracker, that are getting more and more advanced, where it really can't tell the difference. So there's data in there that's changing and making it look like it's something completely different. So it's kind of like one of those theory things that I've just never tested, because I've really never had the time. And I just typically, when I rank something, I just use the standard Amazon URL. Great. I only use the super URLs on giveaways or promotions and things like that.
Great. And we'll have more data on that to come, I'm sure. All right, this is from Jeff, I believe. Yep. Who would be the Amazon pay-per-click expert for Amazon products? I have a couple very specific Amazon pay-per-click questions based on our Amazon business. Not able to address in other AZ support groups. Well, you shouldn't be in other AZ support groups. You're just going to kind of get random answers there, Jeff.
You could try to ask Mike, and if not, we can always get Jack to answer it on a future webinar.
Yeah, I think that ultimately we're rolling out training with Jack. Jack is quite an ace with this, and Liz can testify to that. We're going to be rolling that out and over-the-shoulder stuff. Jack right now is in Boston. We're going to try to get him when he gets back. But Jack Carvel is an ace with this.
Yeah, and I think you could even ask Susan. I think the stuff that I've learned from Jack, now I'm able to sort of like what the stuff that he's taught me or he's like confirmed works. Now I'm able to like think about it and then create my own stuff off of it, and then now him and I are just like sharing data. So it's like pretty amazing, the fact that just he's kind of like opened my eyes to it's like PPC OMG style. I mean, it's on steroids. I can't stress it enough how just awesome it is.
Yeah.
And Jack tests and tests and tests again, and the great thing is the more OMGers he talks to, the more data he's assembling. And virtually every time you talk to him, his strategy is evolving. It's really it's really state of the art.
And Jeff, in between the lines here, really, what are you going to get from like you should just be making OMG your home base. Like, of course, you can be in other groups, but then you see what you wind up getting. You've got to kind of think about how something else is organized. I'm certainly not saying cancel your memberships to a bunch of other groups, or if you have other products. I'm not saying that you can't glean insight. I'm not saying that at all. There are great resources out there. For example, Jason Fladlian's obviously got tremendous resources. Okay. So he's somebody who I just absolutely unquestionably endorse. In fact, we actually have training with Jason in your members area. But
Yeah,
really
in
do make
fact,
sure that, go ahead.
just in fact, that's one of the masterminds that I go to pretty often is Jason's, because he's really able to give you so many like great ideas pretty much. And the people that go there, the people that I've met from there, I'm not sure how it's going to be in the future, but there's a couple, actually, I think Joe Miller's on this call. He's in that mastermind, and it's people that share stuff, so it's pretty amazing. And then Jason's up there, and once you start sharing, Jason he just goes nuts. He just goes over the edge, and he starts just spitting stuff out. It's just really interesting.
And obviously, Jason's intimately involved with OMG at this point, and even has his own OMG Facebook group. So I mean, there certainly are places, but no matter what, and even Jason will tell you this: make OMG your home base. I mean, I just want to say that kind of in between the lines. It's very understandable to be kind of wandering around and trying to cherry pick information. But if you don't have one place that's kind of your primary core home base, and how was that designed? And again, David Mills actually today just released 2 new orientation videos into your Project Breakthrough area. If you're part of that, he may have put them in some of the other areas as well, but certainly in Project Breakthrough. And just understanding how OMG was designed to just be about people who are actually having success, actually showing what they're doing. Again, that typically doesn't happen, with the exception of Jason. I'm not going to say that about anybody else, but Jason Fladlian is really a top gun. So anyways, I just thought I'd point that out. And by the way, that's not at all out of defensiveness. It's just out of me wanting to see you have success. I never would have done OMG if somebody else would have just made OMG. I would just be sitting by a pool somewhere, sipping mojitos. I would just be day drinking nonstop and just relaxing and just doing nothing, playing video games, because I could just promote them, and I like really easily. I'm a really dangerous super affiliate. If there was something like OMG out there, I would just promote the heck out of it. I would just run an infomercial. I know how to do that. It would be the easiest thing for me in the world. It would be far, far easier than what I do inside of OMG. Liz can testify to that. Even Susan got a taste of that yesterday. So I'm not saying this. I'm saying this to help you. So really, in fact, let's get a hashtag home base. I mean, and only if you're really down with what I'm saying. If you're not convinced or you're not sure, that's fine. You can just sit on the sideline. You can give a hashtag harumph if you. but if you're down with what I'm saying, give me a hashtag home base, or a hashtag city on a hill. And I'm not saying absolutely can you get other great information from other places. Absolutely you can, but make OMG your home base. And Jeff, that's not to in any way make you the GOAT. It was great. You came up with a great question there. All right, this is Paul Esper. Let's see what Paul's got to say here. All right, so you launch a product and it's already listed on Amazon. What are the first recommended step-by-step things to do? Amazon training videos first. Do I need to buy high DA, TA, PBNs? Okay, it's a pretty broad question. So that this is a little bit of a kind of a hard question to feel, Paul, because you're kind of saying, how do you do Amazon? Of course you're assuming, well, first of all, you're assuming that you've got a right product in the first place, which we're going to really cover with our documentary. That's the one thing that we're working on for you as a wonderful bonus for our particular spin on how we do product sourcing. We've given you already lots of training on product sourcing, but assuming you have a great product, then the first recommended step to do to go through your training, and that's in there. It's laid out for you. We explain SEO. We explain so it's just kind of such a broad question. It'd really be hard for me to answer that. I mean, of course, you need to write up your listing and do a good job of it. You need to get reviews to your product, and that's going to be what we're going to focus on towards the end of things. And of course, you want to bolster things with getting more traffic to your listing once you have some reviews, then getting some paid traffic and some links to your listing can really help. So in a sense, it's a good question because it helps me. But like, if I were to get on a webinar with Greg Morrison and say, hey, Greg, so now I've got a website registered in WordPress. Now what do I do? Well, of course you do SEO to it. We want to be a little bit more fine tuned. And it's a great question. It's a little bit broad for this webinar. Okay, this is Norman. I did, however, answer your question, by the way. Norman, does Liz run traffic to a squeeze page so she can give a coupon code and use on Amazon rather than link?
So there's actually two different things that I'm still in the process of testing. I'm not actually sure which one I like better, but when I'm kind of like in a hurry and I just want to get something going, I just run it straight to Amazon because I find like the opposite. I truly really don't believe that conversion is as important until you get in the top 10 or so. So I think when you send traffic to Amazon and they're seeing that you're actively doing something outside of just kind of like using their own traffic, they sort of like give you a bonus. So for me, initially, it really doesn't matter. Now, when it does start to matter is like later on when I'm sort of building a brand and it's starting to actually make sales because it's kind of like looks like a big brand. That's when I start to use the squeeze page technique. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I could put a retargeting pixel on there. Okay,
great. And again, we're covering retargeting in your over-the-shoulder series with Elite Serum. Okay, Liz, can we use parent-child listing to add FFP variants to our existing product and then remove the non-FFP version to avoid being out of stock because Amazon wants us to remove non-FFP products back?
Actually, I really don't see any reason why you couldn't. I've got actual listings where they've been converted to FFP and they're FFP, but then I have another child on there that's not FFP approved. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. You might want to just post this in the Amazon group and see if, like tag Michael Bittler and see if he could answer this. He might have some experience with that because he does have, now that I'm thinking about it, he's got a couple listings that have multiple children, but I'm not sure if at any one point he thought about this. So I don't think there would be a problem. But again, you might want to ask him. He would know more about this than I would.
Okay, great. Dirk asked for news on Network Empires software. It's still upcoming. Right now, Network Empires has CERT coming up, which is their event in Arizona. Cotton and Fletcher going out to that. That's a little bit of a black hole. We essentially wound up with we wound up with these hot updates that it was kind of important for us to get these to you first. What we're going to discuss today with the PRC today, this is huge, and getting simple keyword inspector in front of you. They were literally critical for us to get to you first. So we actually asked the Network Empires team to just a little bit put things on the back burner, handle their things with handle stuff with CERT, and then come around after that. Also, you have to remember Liz and I are going to China, and that really takes a lot of bandwidth. You really want us to take care of that. So we're always thinking about things in the proper order. So that's your quick answer to that. Hunter asks, can Liz go over a method on using simple keyword tool from James and using those keywords and merchant words? It would really be best, Hunter, for you to go through the videos first, and then kind of come back around, and we'll try to get there first. But that's already in that training there, so it would be a little bit repetitive. We got a Go Duke here. Somebody's trying to wisely bribe Liz up front. This is Brian Charles. Actually, Brian's from North Carolina.
Yeah,
so maybe
I know Brian. Actually, anybody that hashtag Blue Devils, just anytime you have a question, just send me a PM. Instant credit, whoever hashtag Blue Devils.
We're about to get an explosion of hashtag Blue Devils in the Facebook.
Okay, so let's see what Brian says here.
Okay, just to show you my first samples yesterday for my first product, pumped to get started, but I want to continue finding more products so I don't get one-itis. Little pickup artist term there, Brian. When it comes to finding products, do you typically start with keyword research and move into Amazon, or start with products on Amazon and move to keyword research? I'm curious about your everyday product research habits. Go Duke. Well, we've got this coming up. Do you want to give like the 10,000 foot view, yeah, and then we'll explain this more in depth with our China trip?
Yeah, I'm going to go into depth on how I pick products. It's good. It's a little different than what everybody else does, and I'm going to show you some of the free tools that I use, obviously, and then I definitely use merchant words. I haven't actually tried the tip that Susan gave earlier, but I'm kind of excited to try that because I've never even really thought about that because I've never really have ever had a shortage of products. Right now I've got about 200 products on my list that I can easily launch that I know will be hits, but I just haven't had a chance to do it. And it's pretty much the way I do it is using the systematic approach where I make it a habit to look at products on a daily basis on Amazon. You don't want to use any tools. You want to just use just you, your mouse, and Amazon. That's it. When you get in there and you start looking at stuff, not only do you find products, but you also start to notice trends that are happening within Amazon as well as new things that sellers are doing and whether or not they're doing well with it or not. So I'm going to show this step by step as well as the criteria that I look for. And I'm constantly, again, I can't stress this enough, I'm constantly testing, kind of like pushing the limit. I know in other courses they say, make sure merchant words has this much volume. Merchant words, as I told Jack before, Jack said that in his actual categories, merchant words has been fairly accurate. But I showed Jack the other day ago a keyword that told me that it was 4 million in volume. And then when I run, PPC to the maximum or whatever, I'm not getting anywhere near that. And all the other keywords that it said were horrible are getting a massive amount of volume. So it really just depends on the niche, and I don't find merchant words as accurate as Jack has, so I don't completely rely on it. Sometimes it's just about making, taking a chance and making a test out of it. And you might find it, you launch the product and the maximum you're able to sell is 12 to 15, but hey, you already got the product going, it's selling at 12 to 15 with hardly any reviews and it's going real well. You just continually add products and that's how you grow into huge profits.
Rock and roll. All right. So that's a high level. And again, there's a reason why Liz and I are just hacking a month out of our life to go to China. Because we, as kind of a bonus, we have explained Liz's method for product research actually in your training already. But as an update, we're hauling ourselves off to China, as a full bonus. And so, give us your prayers and your good feelings, and you're going to get a lot out of that, most certainly. Okay, this is Keith again. We found that we found that and we've submitted to SS and they've done nothing. We are doing giveaways now, and that's been our saving grace. Keith, giveaways are huge, and people don't realize nearly how huge they are. And so we
right. And then the other thing, I did message Keith and asked him how many times he's submitted to Seller Central, because a lot of times if you submit once, I had somebody that is a friend of mine that submitted the whole copyright infringement thing where somebody took their listing verbatim, and they've done it 4 times and Seller Central has done nothing. Sometimes all it takes is that 5th person that knows what they're doing. So I would submit it multiple times with hopes that you get somebody else. I'm not sure if this is something that qualifies for the leadership team, but you might want to just ask them for that if you have really good evidence against it, and they might be able to move it through into a higher case.
Okay. All right, Peter, can a person leave a review without being a verified purchaser?
Yes, they can. They can leave a review. Of course, people, when they look at them, they don't give them as much credit, but if you get some consumers that they just look for the number of stars and don't read through the reviews, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Carlos, if we have multiple products, should we be using different reviewer lists to avoid different review clubs to avoid leaving a footprint, Amazon removing them? Carlos, we're actually, let's just save this to the end because we're really going to get down and dirty with reviews, and our take on reviews is, I believe, very different than everybody else's. It's a great question. Great question. Okay, this is Mag. Do you compensate reviewers and ask them, again, to help you out? Again, we'll cover this towards the end. You cannot compensate reviewers, but we will cover this towards the end. And we're really going to get down and dirty with reviewers. These are great questions on reviews. You should be thinking about reviews. This is Keith. It's funny. I pasted that in before I realized what he was asking. All right, so Keith, that's a.
If Keith put a hashtag Blue Devils, I'll just look at it for him on Thursday when I'm sitting.
Where are hashtag Blue Devils? We only got a few of them. After that last time, we got 4 of them.
If Keith put a hashtag Blue Devils while I'm sitting at the airport on Thursday, I'll look at it for him for free.
All right. Matt says, best way to get reviews on products wholesale COGs is close to $25. Can I get my Can my client really afford to give away 100 products and in the hope of getting positive feedback? Again, this is something we're essentially going to cover. These are all great angles, all great angles on what we're going to cover at the end. So we will get to that at the end. It's a great question. Maybe Keith is a big Michigan fan, though. Michigan State. He might be. You might have pushed him over the edge. You might have pushed him too far. Okay. Jennifer says, "When I recorded?" Yes, of course. Of course, it's being recorded, and we always try to get it. Let's see. This is from David Fripp. Just more of a comment than a question, but it's a good comment. Great tip from Jimmy Kelly on using a URL shortener to add an extra level to protect yourself from Amazon. Yeah, absolutely. Those shorteners are very powerful. Gary's asking, what's the canonical URL?
The canonical URL is it's typically like the URL that has the keywords in it. And again, I'm not really like heavily really good at SEO and all that. I'm pretty decent, but it'll be something like let me just. Can you just pull up any Amazon product, Mike? Like do a search for.
Sure can.
Just do a search for like pink Himalayan salt or whatever.
All right, give me 1 second. I don't know if I'll be able to spell Himalayan.
Just do it for anything, like iPhone 6 case.
I did pink salt.
Okay, so if you just click on that first one, what you'll notice, the canonical is going to be everything up to where it gives the ASIN right there at the end. So it's that whole piece right there, and it includes the keywords that it's actually optimized for, like the I guess that would be like the title tag, Sherpa, pink, gourmet, Himalayan grain. So that's what the canonical is. And the only way you can really get the canonical is, because a lot of times Amazon will give you a weird one with like a DP only, is by the way a canonical pops up. The true canonical is when somebody does a keyword search. So in this case, it was pink salt.
So that.
Yeah, so that's the canonical.
Okay, so not this.
No, that's just kind of like some extra stuff. I don't actually know.
Okay, and bear in mind your canonical can change. If your canonical does change, you're still going to carry that juice over as no follows. But you'll probably need to get new do follow links. Okay, from Laura, this is going to be more of a Greg Morrison question, but it's a good question, so I'll bring it up. Okay, Laura says, in terms of bidding on expired domains for your PBN, why doesn't it really matter if the domain name matches the theme of your product? Because people can have websites that have nothing to do. Like you could have a site about dogs that's called bluedevils.com, right? Like let's imagine that Liz had a site called adorablebluedevils.com, and it was a blog about her dogs, and she just thinks of her dogs as blue devils, right? This is perfectly normal, happens all the time. Cottongrammar.com has nothing to do, like the name inherently, cottongrammar.com has nothing inherently to do with SEO. However, it is one of the great authority sites on all of the internet about SEO. So that's why, Laura. Melissa. Melissa says, hey Liz, I have a nighttime face cream. I know the beauty niche is very competitive. Do you have any special tips for getting a product like this off the ground and flying high?
Right, so the main thing I would do is obviously get my at least like 20 reviews going. So if you haven't already done that, then that's step one. I would also launch some PPC, and again, Jack's going to be kind of showing how he's going to do that in the actual beauty niche, so I think you'll find that super interesting. And then finally, the third thing is I really need to assess what my competition has done and how many reviews they have, and based on that, it's going to tie in what we're going to talk about at the end of this call, which is if you don't have a private review club, how do you go about getting reviews? The key really is to do a giveaway, and it sort of just depends on what niche you're in to figure out how many you need to give away. But really, right now, that's the bottom line. That's how things are actually moving is with giveaways. They work real well, and a lot of people they're afraid to do really like decent giveaways. Like they're kind of afraid. They think they're going to give away and they're not going to get it back. They don't realize that there's obviously a delay before you start getting it back and move up in the rankings, but they do work and they work very well.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. That's just like, it's a lot like building a PBN. It's just the fastest way to go in fastest, best way, most economical way, and so forth, instead of just slogging through things. And we'll get into that. Susan, how to contact Susan, Susan at McDowell on Facebook. David Fripp. Okay, great. It's fine. He just had a suggestion. Carlos, what would the basic step-by-step list? All right, let me put this up here. This is going to be something, again, that's a little bit overly general for what we're covering. You'll wind up with a general answer, but this is the kind of thing that like the whole training is about. What would be the basic step-by-step list of how to rank a product that you just posted? That's the kind of thing, Carlos. When you're asking a question that general, it's good to say, okay, I'm answering a great question, but I need to drill down into the training, because again, that's what this is all about, right? Like so if you were to say to Greg, how do you rank a site? That's a great question, but all he can do is respond with a very general answer and help you drill down deeper. And that's why you want to make OMG your home base. So really the real answer to this is make OMG your home base. And I'm not being smart in saying that. I think it's a great question, Carlos, but it's a great high level question. So the real answer is to learn how to drill down. We're gonna give you the number one thing that's going to consistently allow you to rank a product that you just posted, which is building a private review club. But again, like I see this as kind of a general question, and where you can really benefit yourself and be happy that you're drilling down and getting deeper, and that you have people who are real deal, who are making a ton of money on Amazon to tell you exactly what they're doing and answer their questions. Jay said, follow up with the last question about the listing category. How can we change the listing to a smaller but still correct subcategory for our product?
It's been a while since I called Seller Central to change out a listing, and I'm not sure if Susan can answer on this, but they used to just swap it out for you or change it based on you wanted to change a new category. But this is about 6 months ago, when you would call them up, because again, I really hate calling Seller Central, but a lot of times it's required. You would call them up and ask them to put in a different category. You put it in the wrong category. They actually would add a second node for you if it was selling real well. So nowadays, I don't know if they'll actually move it, but it's worth the try. And maybe Susan can come in here and see what she's heard.
2 weeks ago, I moved my category for one of my products fairly drastically using a flat file.
Great.
Just did it myself. Didn't have to call Seller Central at all.
Was that with the item type keyword, Susan?
I changed the whole category. It was still in kitchen, but I did. Yes, it was the item type keyword.
Okay, so it's in the flat file training. I'm not sure if this is Carlos, but we talk about it's called the ITK, or the item type keyword, where we looked at the browse tree guide to see what category we fell under, and so you can use the flat file training to make your changes. Just remember that when you do the flat file, make sure you do only a partial update and you don't purge the listing, because when you do that, it's going to delete your listing. So flat file update with a partial update, and do not purge.
And every niche is different. This was in home and kitchen. Actually, I moved it from kitchen and dining to home within home and kitchen, and then moved the keyword. I held my breath. I was afraid I was going to break everything permanently, but it worked like a charm and did what I needed to do, because I had my number1 new release the next morning in my new category.
You know, again, this is awesome. This is what I mean about having people that are just doing it. Like, Liz and I went to an event, and it was expensive, and they told us what we wanted to hear, what they thought we wanted to hear, and it wasn't very nice for us. We heard a lot of theory, and frankly, it was frustrating. And what we wanted to hear, like, for example, what Jack did was Jack started talking about what he's doing, and we were like, well, that's great, right? So this is, again, this is what, the fundamental advantage, overwhelming advantage of OMG is just getting around people that are actually doing it. This is Jay. Jay, I have my first product out since February. It's been selling at least 1 unit a day. Is that a signal to move on to a different product or give it more time to grow before I start another niche?
I think that just depends, Jay. Like a couple of things that I like to look at are initially when you decided to go into that category, what were the BSRs for the top products? Like what did the BSRs look like? And second thing is, have you ever sold more than 1 unit? So it's kind of like it would take a bit to be able to dissect why you're only selling 1 unit a day, because it might be like where do you fall for your main keywords? And number two, what kind of keywords search volume does merchant words say those keywords get? So you would have to kind of give me the answers to those, because it sounds to me like if your primary keyword, if you could just tell us here in a minute how much, where you rank for your primary keyword. If you're like on page 1, at the top of page 1, then obviously it's time to move on to a different niche. But if you're not even ranking for your primary keyword, then you obviously probably need to do a little bit more work to get put on page 1.
And I'll tell you what, no matter what in Amazon, you need to be looking to be constantly in motion. Just like if you're doing SEO client consulting, you need to be getting new clients. It's the same kind of thing. So just like adding new products or going deeper into your product line, you need to be doing something. You need to be promoting all the time. Promotion is the lifeblood of business, and that's just the bottom line.
It's sort of just like, I think you would agree, Mike, it's sort of like SEO, or like, let's say ranking a YouTube video. If you ever get a video ranked and you're like at the top, like say you're in the top 3 in YouTube, but then all of a sudden you don't do anything about it and you're just doing the same stuff that you've been doing, and all of a sudden a bunch of other videos, like 3 other videos pop up ahead of you. What you're not realizing is that other people are doing other things, and that your competition is doing stuff while you just sit there and do nothing. So what you have to sort of understand is when something like that happens, you have to kind of do more.
Yeah, the way to make money will always revolve around promotion. Okay, like if you're not either making something new to promote or actually promoting that new thing or promoting something previous, you're stagnating. Okay, so that's the bottom line. And until you have the money to retire, you need to be focused on promotion. Paula says, what's FFP? FFP is frustration-free packaging. And that's something that allows you to guard your, to kind of, if you do it Mike Bittler's way, it allows you to uniquely guard yourself against getting your product hijacked. It has some other benefits to it as well. And we have an over-the-shoulder series right there in your Amazon area on how to do it. Michael's that really has really brought people to their feet. It's so powerful. Carlos says, do you recommend using different Amazon account if we're helping clients to sell their products as opposed to using ours?
Absolutely. I would definitely do it with either have them create one or you create one for them, but make sure it's set up with you're going to ask for a different business name. Probably even use like a remote desktop connection to connect to that versus yours, unless you actually ask them for permission. And I think it's got to be different bank account, different business entity, or different personal name. And I think different credit card as well.
Great. Invaluable. This is Andrew. When doing FFP on China source products, do you use the Amazon recommended FFP package supplier? Do you send FFP packaging to your supplier or repackage in the US?
That pretty much is just going to depend on you. Like, for example, I know that my FFP products, we actually kit them ourselves because we're also doing like inserts and we do like a freebie in there. So we kit them ourselves, so everything comes here to us, where I think Michael does the same thing. But I know a lot of people that have the actual supplier do that for them and then send it into Amazon. But usually, definitely on the first try, I do it myself because I want to make sure, first of all, the supplier got everything right. And I think if you don't do that, you might be costing yourself a lot of extra fees, especially when you're sending over 1,000 units into Amazon and they're not done properly. So I think the first time you definitely have to send it to yourself. And also, in the future, that we're going to be introducing that service that Kevin Jen offer.
Yeah, it's killer.
It's really killer. So they have a warehouse in LA and they can do everything for you.
Yeah, these are ONGers, Kev and Jim. You're going to meet them in our documentary in China, and it's incredible. We're also going to be paying intense focus while we're in China. We've already answered these questions again. This is already in your membership area, but we're going even more in depth as a bonus. Again, that's part of your ongoing advantage is we're kind of as a full bonus. It's not something we sold, but you're getting it as a bonus. We're going in the field to China, and one of the things that we're going to be really investigating is product packaging while we're there. So it's going to be really, really exciting for people. This is Theo. I have my second product coming to launch. It makes sense to do FFP. Unfortunately, we've got a spelling situation here that makes it a little bit hard for me to know.
I think it's just asking if it's better to do it straight away.
Great.
Right, which I think the answer is yes. And you'll notice in the HydroFeed OTS series that that's what we did. Michael did it straight away. So the advantage to that is that you don't have to, like the product that took a month and a half for approval, you don't have to wait a month and a half. You might have to wait for a month and a half, but you won't be without sales for a month and a half.
Okay, great. Somebody asked if the replay of the Becker Webby was going to be in the members area. I think there was an issue with recording part of it, but we always post replays whenever we can. Andrew says, do you use the FN SKU barcode on your product packaging?
You definitely can. I still typically use the actual, it sort of depends on the product as a whole. If it's FFP, it should be the UPC. I'm sorry about that. If it's, I know that a lot of people do use the FN SKU. I personally don't, only because I've heard that every now and then the FN SKU can change. So the other thing is, are you commingling your inventory? If you're commingling inventory, I don't believe you have to, but again, I don't know if I would recommend that because of the potential hijacker issues. So typically what I like to do is either use a service like Kevin and Jen to actually label it for me. I believe they're actually cheaper than what Amazon charges you, or send it in and we'll do it ourselves. So two different things that I use. But I haven't personally put the FNSKU barcode, but you can do it. And maybe Susan knows in what instances FNSKU has actually changed. Have you ever heard of that, Susan? I know I've heard a couple people say that.
No, I haven't, but all my products are brand registered, so I use the UPC code as my identifier, so I don't have to spend the money for the FN SKU stickers, okay. and have the UPC code printed right on my product because I'm optimistic that my product will actually be sold through other channels and I'll need the UPC code.
Great.
Great.
Okay, this is Richard. Following Greg's video on manual siloing, I installed the widget context. Would it be better to get the interior pages to show in the sidebar? I use Genesis child theme. Any other plugin recommendations? This is a little bit far afield for this event, Richard. I put it up to kind of give people an idea of the kind of questions that wouldn't wind up working up for an Amazon webinar. Fletch is really great at answering this question. Fletch has office hours on Tuesday. You can ask Network Empires about this. They're also on Tuesday. Tuesday is a great day to get that answered. You can also ask this question in the Facebook group, general Facebook group. I would tag Fletch. Paula says, I watched them, $550. That's why I went off my radar. This is a common misconception. Wirecast is free. Wirecast is free.
Yeah, it's definitely free.
It's free, guys. I've seen this again and again and again. And if you currently think that Wirecast costs $500, then that's a good indicator that there's some distractions going on when you're going through your training. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great indicator for you to realize that OMG is your home base and to really focus in. Okay. I'll go ahead and talk to David Mills about maybe putting some links below, the direct link to Wirecast and so forth, to get it free. But it's been covered just again and again and again in your members area. That doesn't mean you're wrong for not realizing this. It's just a good indicator that maybe it was just a temporary thing happened. Maybe a dog barked or something like that, or maybe somebody rang the doorbell or something. But it's just what a difference. It's a $500 difference. And then maybe you just won't even get Wirecast. Maybe you won't even use it. So Wirecast is free and it's explained again and again in your members area. in the over-the-shoulder series for 2015, in the over-shoulder series for Elite Serum, and in Joe's members area. This is Jenna. Mike, on the Serum and Joe's town sites, I noticed that each town's page is duplicate. Okay, we already answered this question. Jenna probably just wound up asking it twice. Jeff has, it looks like an extensive question here. I don't know how far we'll get with this, but let's have a look. Okay, so Jeff says, my product just raised from $800 a day to $1,600 per day in pay-per-click budget for about 20 keywords and 2 campaigns. The typical keyword is usually $2 to $4 each. Typical cost to me is $35 to $50 per day. This was for last week, which was a poor week. Although I doubled the daily spend, my impressions stayed the same. Have I hit my maximum impressions for that product? It's in the kitchen and dining high end, but many competitors are at low prices. We wanted to increase traffic in Amazon and it did not work. Typical sales were $10 to $15 per month, K per month. And my ACOS is 20%. Mike knows the product. Yes, I do. I hope I explained it well. Liz, do you have the ability to answer this question? I personally do not.
I'm not really, I don't understand the first part, because he's saying, did he start making, he went from $800 sales a day to $1,600?
No, I believe that's his ad spend. I believe that was his ad spend budget.
What I don't understand is, like, if his ACOS is 20%, and his ad spend went up to $1,600, I would be drooling at that. So I'm not sure I understand. I mean, would you agree that, Susan, with that, or do you kind of understand something differently?
Well, I'm confused with the numbers, because if his if his PPC cost is $1,600 a day, but his sales are 10 to 15 a month, his ACOS can't be 20%. He's well over 100.
I think he's saying that's. I think that's the budget. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's being spent out. Jeff, one way or the other, we're winding up confused on this.
I can say that the keyword spend in kitchen and dining can be brutal. There are keywords that are $5 to $10 per keyword. So kitchen and dining right now, depending on your product, is really expensive, particularly if you're going after major keywords. So what I would say is he probably needs to look at some longer tail keywords.
Right. I think I get it now. So what he's saying is that he doubled his ad spend, but his impressions have stayed the same. So he's in other words, he's pretty much maxed, is what it is. So I think one of two things: test out other keywords, for sure, like Susan said, because you're not going to get additional key impressions from those other ones. And again, the tactics that Jack's going to share might actually help you get more. So it's definitely going to be something that you want to stay tuned for.
Yeah, because Liz, it looks like he only has 2 campaigns for these keywords.
Right. So
Jack definitely has some strategies that can get him more impressions without spending more money.
Definitely, because I think he's saying his PPC budget, he doubled his PPC budget from $800 to $1,600.
Okay, great. Yeah, again, this is ongoing advantages. Really, really exciting.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, what he can basically do is try to add put another campaign with some other keywords that maybe come up with James Harbaugh's tool, like a scrape might come up with them, and maybe that will give him some more traffic.
Okay, great. All right, this is from John. John says, I've got 2 products that are listed in 2 categories, but this is really selling in one of them. The listing that is selling will keep getting hijacked, even though I don't have brand registered to do FFP. Would I need to do it for each ASIN or just the one that's selling well?
So I don't understand how he got one product with 2 different ASINs. That's the one part I don't get, but I would need to do it for each ASIN. So that's the one part I don't understand. So I would just convert like the main. I'm not sure why you have 2 ASINs, but I would certainly convert the main one in the meantime. And you might be you might not be able to sell for like how we talked about with Alice, I think it was, like try to time it. So you might try to make sure that you're down to like say 100 and then have those shipped back to you. So you might not be out of like selling for maybe a week or so. You can merchant fulfill in that time. but you'll get rid of the hijacker problem permanently.
Great. And he also asked, does FFP have to be recyclable? The answer is yes. Do you have to have to get your brand registered before applying for
Yes.
FFP? And the answer is yes. And again, the answer, those answers happen to already be in your over-the-shoulder series. Kathy Bates, I'm going to just grab this up real quick and throw it up here. Can you talk a little bit more about product packs?
Sure. Product packs are like multi-packs or just like 2 units of your product. Or it could be like a 2-pack, or you could do like, let's say you sell a, let's just say a face cream, a moisturizer, and you want to put it together with a vitamin C serum. Like that's just kind of taking it like to the, it's probably not like a good example, but that's the best one I can sort of think about. But product packs are pretty much just like multi-packs.
Okay. All right, this is Matt. What's the best way to get reviews on a product that COGs is close to $25? Can my client, okay, we've already asked this question, Matt.
Yeah, and really the bottom line is he has to afford it.
Yeah.
That's the only really thing that I can tell.
Yeah,
if
and
you're
we're
going to
gonna
want
get
to be
into
in
that.
this business, you
Yeah.
sort of have to like afford it.
And if you can, we're really trying to go through all the questions. Basically, don't post our question twice if you can help it, because as you can see, it just kind of fouls things up. It's very understandable that you did. Jake, thanks so much. Can you tell me how they analyze product competition on Amazon? Is there a way to determine how much product you have to give away in order to get rankings? I have merchant words, and I can see the search volume. I also see the number of reviews that my competitors have. I noticed on page 1, the reviews range from 30 to 300.
So pretty much, the way I do it, and again, I'll be going over this, but the way I do it is I sort of look at the landscape of who's competing in the product space. So you'll find that you've got your standard people that don't have a clue, or maybe your big brands, which most of them don't really have a clue either. Or you'll have people that have actually, like, and I'll say this here, but they've bought into ASM, which most of the time don't even have a clue either. The only time when I look in a niche, and if I do my strategy, when I start to think like, this is a difficult category, is when you get a lot of powerhouse sellers. And what powerhouse sellers really are people that are selling multiple products in the same brand, and they have like 15 to 20 products, and all those rank in the top 3,000. So what I like to do is you sort of have to test this out. It sort of is just niche dependent and product dependent, really, the number of products that you have to give away. What you can always start off by doing is doing like a test giveaway, like contacting somebody like Susan and having her set up a 25 unit giveaway, and seeing if that actually moves you anywhere. In some cases, you'll need to, if you're going into something like skincare or diet and supplements, then typically to get on page 1, you're going to have to do multiple giveaways of over hundreds of units. So you sort of have to, it's almost like one of those things that you just have to test out. Great.
All right. John says, Jack, do we have any resources from Jack on Amazon pay-per-click? We never promised to give anything from Jack on pay-per-clicks. That was something that just kind of emerged. Again, that's one of those ongoing things that we managed to track down for you. And the answer is that we are actually, as an ongoing situation, we're actually be able to tack on a bonus to the Elite Serum series and explain pay-per-clicks from Jack's point of view. And that's going to be extremely exciting. All right, John says, I tried to run Amazon pay-per-click ads for a new product listing, and it wasn't allowed by Amazon. I was told I had to get more sales before I could run ads. Is there a way to get around this limitation? You really want to have a baseline of reviews before you run paid advertising to it, no matter what, because it's not going to convert if you don't have reviews.
Right. I typically like to have at least 15, but I've never seen that instance unless I'm not winning the buy box, which could mean that I'm like listing like a retail arbitrage product. But have you ever seen that, Susan, where you weren't allowed to? It could be it's also dependent upon the category. I don't think jewelry allows for it right now, and adult doesn't allow for it. But other than that, I haven't seen that instance. Maybe Susan has?
No, I haven't, but I'm pretty conservative. I generally wait until I'm converting and have a nice base of reviews before I run PPC. So I guess I'd probably need to know about, how new the product listing is and how few sales they had. If you're starting out the gate and you haven't sold any yet and you try to do PPC, Amazon probably wants to see you converting as well before they start giving you ad spots that they could be earning money on from somebody else that does have a converting product.
Well, just one thing with that though, I have tested running PPC with a product that has 0 reviews, and it did run. This was in the beauty niche.
But did it have sales?
No, it hadn't. It hadn't had any sales.
But it was under an account that was seasoned and existing with other products that had sales, right?
Right. It was. But other than that, it had no reviews at all.
So maybe it has to do with seller feedback.
Yeah.
Rather than reviews, but maybe it's a seller issue.
All right, great.
You can't run it until you have a base.
All right, David Fripp says, do you have a single company and then create separate Amazon stores for your different niche products, or do you have multiple companies?
You sort of have to set it up. You should set it up with like different LLCs and then one but again, I'm not a tax professional, so I wouldn't listen to what I had to say. But if you're talking about just within the stores themselves, there's a couple different outlooks on the way people do this. And I've got like a mix of each, and then I use a tool like Managed by Stats to separate brands. So you could technically start a different Amazon account for each brand. And I've done that. I've tried that out. But I've also I have a couple accounts where they have a good majority of a lot of different products. So it sort of really depends on what you and your accountant sort of decide that you should do. And I've heard a lot of people say that it's a headache with the multiple Amazon accounts, and I have 6, so I can definitely see where they're coming from. But these are people that have upwards in sort of like 12. I know a guy that has 12 Amazon accounts, and he says it's such a pain in the ass. So yeah. I don't know if Susan has some outlook on that. She.
Well, I do have one of my secrets is that I do have a master's in tax and practiced as a CPA for years before finding the wonderful world of the internet. Although I do not give out tax advice, but you are going to have a separate tax ID number for each account. And
I didn't want to mention that, Susan.
Well, I figure I will. So that's sort of when I sit there and say, talk to your accountant about sales tax, don't listen to anybody. That's why I'm saying it, because it's true. But this is a case, I think that it's really the kind of thing that you need to discuss the structure with your accountant. From a sales point of view, from Amazon, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be, they're going to be looking at brands, not as the seller. But there are all kinds of reasons about wanting to maybe isolate risk from an insurance perspective, that you want different accounts. If you are dealing in something in the health sphere, you don't want the higher insurance premiums to be passed on to everything else. So I think it's really far beyond the scope of what we can handle here in OMG.
And I want to point out, like, that's really not a cop out when Susan says talk to your accountant. Like, I see all the time people be like, discuss blah 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 with your lawyer, and I'm like, shut up, like. Because that is a cop out, because first of all, most lawyers, I mean, like, you need a lawyer for like a specific situation, right? But this is not, like, accountants very different than lawyers. You can, talk to an accountant, and it's going to be much cheaper, and it's going to be much more direct and clear. And so, I think that's great advice. Hunter said, I'm not saying never talk to a lawyer, but I mean, you'll hear it like a million times, consult your physician before you, and you're like, shut up. Like, who's going to like, as if he knows, like, give me a break. Right. Hunter, sorry, I'm not saying don't go to your doctor. That's neither legal nor medical advice. I'm just telling you my gut reaction. But definitely don't be afraid to talk to your accountant. I'm not afraid to talk to mine. Hunter says, Liz, do you private label all of your products, or do you sell the Chinese generic brand? I guess he's saying, do you private label the anyway.
Yeah, I never sell a generic one. Even if I have to get the logo photoshopped on the product, and then they get the Chinese generic brand, I don't ever let it be known that it's like generic, or you'll get some Chinese people on there trying to sell it at some point.
Great. Patrick said, my stepfather just finished a 100,000-word novel about his expertise experience as a railroad builder in the Battle of the Bulge, and he'd like me to publish it and market it. I was thinking about going through Amazon, looking for a mentor to help me. Well, Patrick, the Amazon training you're going to get here can definitely help move it up in the Kindle market. We actually have already terrific Kindle training from Jim Utzinger that's in your blueprint and in your members area, and we're actually adding more from Jay Boyer on Kindle marketing. So we happen, again, in your immediate training, we've got answers for you, and in your ongoing, we happen to wind up having more coming soon, and that's really cool of you, Patrick, to help your stepfather that way. Patrick's one of my favorites. I hate to say it. It doesn't mean that you're not if you're listening to me. Otherwise, I see Dave Case is on. Dave, you're my favorite too. You're all my favorite. All right. I guess it kind of becomes watered down at that point. Richard said, when did you say that Amazon UK capability will be up? Richard, we don't have an answer on that. That's kind of an ongoing thing. It's not something that we ever promised, and yet it's still something that we're working hard to track down. It may happen as early as May. Alice, it's still a great question. And we're not doing anything to block you from being in the UK, by the way. Just in terms of having more specific resources for that. Alice says canonical URL on the Amazon page. View. Okay, this will help you. This is a point. This is not a question. Okay, great. Thank you, Alice, for this advice. She says canonical URL on the Amazon page. Use view source and search the word canonical, and you'll find the URL. Thank you very much. It's great, Alice. David Fripp, I think actually it must have happened at around the same time. So I think David, okay, the canonical URL is the URL that Google indexes and ranks. Copy your exact title into Google, and it will show you what Google ranks and indexes. Great, that's another tip on things. Hunter has a tip. Let's find out what it is. Getting rid of negative seller feedback is pretty simple. Is there a simple way to get rid of one-star reviews on Amazon? I don't understand, Hunter.
Oh, that's the difference between seller feedback and product reviews. Right?
Right.
Getting rid of negative seller feedback, because most of it is the product stinks, and so you can just contact seller support and say this is a violation of the guidelines because it's a product review, not seller feedback, and they take it away. But if they say the product stinks under a product review, you can't, unless you can establish that they're attempting to manipulate reviews as a competitor or things that Liz said before, we've got to use some of the strategies we're going to teach with the private review clubs to help minimize the damage on the one-star reviews. We're not going to be able to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's
right. And the other thing is a lot of times you can actually, if you get the right seller rep on the live chat, you can actually get the order ID and contact the person, and then try to this is different versus like Keith's situation where he's getting like reviews from his competitor that are negative. But this is like if somebody's like doesn't like the fact that their mittens didn't fit well, you can always use the live chat with the Amazon specialist and ask them if you could please get the order ID for the person that left the review. And then link them the review, because you've got to make sure that everything is, they weren't happy with their product experience, so you want to get them refunded. So what I would do is in that situation, when they give it to me, I immediately refund them and then reach out to them. And a lot of times they're like just absolutely thrilled, and they'll change that back to a 1-star. So this is completely different than the problem that Keith was having.
Great. Okay, this is John.
But you need to be careful. You can't ask them to change it. I'm sorry, if you ask them to change it, you're in violation of Amazon terms of service. And if it's a jerk on the line, you can get yourselves in trouble. So you can't say, you can't actually ask them to change it.
Right, probably too risky to ask them to change it. Okay. John said, would it be okay to use a pretty link to shorten your URL for sending links to? I do it all the time. We use all kinds of things. You can use Bitly. The problem with Bitly is it'll actually show that it's an Amazon link, so it's not necessarily as good, but there's all kinds of URL shorteners that you can use, and we use them all the time. It's just part of SEO. Tony said, Amazon actually shows the canonical URL source code that you can, all right, this, again, a bit of a tip on that. I'm kind of pasting these in without checking them over. That's great, Tony, thank you. All right, this is coming from David. This next one. Okay, great. Yeah, it's more canonical. Okay, Melissa, I think this is a follow-up to what she said before. I don't know if it's going to help or if we can remember what it was, but Melissa says that she has 34 reviews. Let me see if I can remember what Melissa was asking before. Okay. It was the nighttime face cream. Liz, I have a nighttime. So this is the original question. So I'll grab the question and then I'll grab and then just
Right, I think I
follow-up.
remember this one. So, to be quite honest, 34 is not a lot. That's like a super competitive niche. You're going to find really powerhouse brands in there. So it really comes down to what I would start by doing is really sort of targeting long tail keywords, because there's really no way you're going to rank right now for like the really big gun keywords. So I would start targeting long tail keywords and then doing some giveaways based around those long-term keywords. And then at that point, since it is such a huge niche, even with long tail keywords, you should be able to get up to quite a few units a day. I mean, you're obviously never going to sell the 100 plus or 300 plus that they get on page one, but you'll definitely start to sell some. And then in the next time, it'll sort of like allow you to make a decision whether or not it's a niche that you actually want to be in, talking about like some of these powerhouse niches. So for your next product, you can sort of understand what it takes to sort of sell more or decide on a different product line completely, like altogether.
Great. Andrew says, where can we find more information about when and where to use the URL shortener? You can go to Jimmy, Russell, and Sue's training session on Tuesday. You can post in the Facebook group. There's also just direct training already in there in your blueprint. If you don't have the blueprint yet, email me at omg@omgmachines.com. And I happen to just use them right and left. You can also ask Greg. Let's see. Okay, Maria. This is an interesting question. I'm really glad she asked this. Maria says, do you source the majority of products from China or the USA?
I actually do a mix. Like I love to source Chinese products, but I also love to source ones in the USA for the sake of speed. And also a lot of the ones that I source in the USA are like highly competitive, so I can constantly test strategies, because again, as I told you all in one of the other webinars, one of the things that I do on a constant basis is test, and I'm constantly running tests so that I know in the future what works best on brand new products. So with the USA things, I can easily and quickly like launch the same product and do different things with it.
Great. And
with two different brands, yeah.
And Jack Carvel's let people know that most of his stuff, if not all of it, is sourced in the U.S. So don't be afraid to use US. The reason we're going to China is because there's just much more of a barrier to entry for people dealing with China, and so we're kicking the door off the hinges for you. I may actually go and start doing some US factory things as well, but that's really something that's. Go ahead.
One more thing that I was just going to mention, Mike, is I'm actually now sourcing in other countries too. I'm starting to actually source in Mexico because I'm right across the border.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking at sourcing into Mexico, and I've actually got one product that's coming out right now that was sourced in Mexico. And so if you have like connections in other countries, don't be afraid to use them. You can really source from any country that you really want to. It doesn't just have to be China or USA.
I'm actually looking right now at sourcing in Romania because it's still high quality and it can be stamped as from the EU. So yeah, absolutely. But again, but there is a reason we're going to China. There's also different things, like for example, what we're doing with Elite Serum. Elite Serum itself is made with ingredients from all over the world, including Barcelona and so forth. It's made, although in the U.S., but the packaging is made in China. So, one of the things we're going to be looking at is packaging as well. So it can be a complex answer. Richard said, can you contact someone to purchase 5 to 10 age domains with a DAPA? Can you contract somebody? I would do something in the Facebook group, and you can certainly ask. There's just tons of people in the Facebook group, so you can ask somebody. Maybe ask Brad Mabry or Gregory Ortiz or something like that.
Yeah, Greg Ortiz does it.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew says you don't need to call ASC to change nodes on Amazon. There's a form in your office, he says. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's talking about by office, but I usually do them in the flat file, like Susan said. But I used to call them just because I didn't know how to use a flat file.
All right. Jeff said, when you change categories, don't you lose all your reviews and ranking juice from pay-per-clicks? We were told by 3 SC people, Seller Central people, that would happen that would happen on an old product since abandoned automotive.
No, not when you change categories. You don't lose your reviews. If you're to actually delete the listing, that's about the only way you lose reviews. And I think actually Susan accidentally deleted a listing not too long ago, and she was like, she actually, Michael Bitler's the one that told her that you could still get it put back on. So even if you accidentally delete a listing, you can still contact Seller Central and talk to a feed specialist, and they should be able to help you put it back up. But
You're
even in
talking
that
about
case,
my fun weekend that I spent
yes.
12 hours with
But
that,
you
trying to
didn't
do
lose your
parent-child
listing,
with black
right? I mean,
files.
you didn't lose
But-
your reviews, right? I mean, you got
No.
it back, right?
I had I had 100 reviews when I did this category change, and I didn't lose any of them.
Okay, great.
So
Jay, this was Jay who's selling the one product a month since February. He says he's on page 2 to 3 on 4 different category keywords.
Okay, so he still has room to move up. Until he's on page 1, probably in the top 10, then you really don't know truly like how many you should be selling. So I definitely would not give up on the product. It just sounds like he needs to do more promotion to move the product up.
Okay, great. All right, this is Brian Charles. How reliable have you guys found that sales tracking for AMZ tracker to be? Also, I'm probably late to the game here, but can someone shed some light on flat file? Flat files, you have training on using flat files to list your product categories. Basically, go into your Hydra Feet OTS series to see what that's about. Brian, do you have an answer on the AMZ tracker?
Yeah, I just switched to AMZ Tracker over Search Rank, and there's a couple reasons I did that. But what I'm finding is people that have told me that they're using the AMZ Tracker, it's not really that accurate to predict sales, so I wouldn't probably rely on it. I'm sort of more or less kind of taking an estimate based off of the BSRs and how I know that niche. So it can be, it's a difficult thing to actually guess. I know a couple people that I know are having great success with Rank. I think it's Rank Tracker. I just saw it in one of my groups. Somebody was talking about Rank Tracker or something like that, but I haven't really had any success with that. I just sort of can assess how well something sells just by looking at it, just based off of my experience with BSRs.
Great, and that's something that Liz has talked about already in your training. Okay. Jorge says, if you picked only one pay-per-click site to start with besides Amazon, would you start with Facebook, Google Ads, or YouTube? We're probably gonna get more in depth in this. It's pretty broad. Like, people are making all of these work, so it's just a little bit broad. That would be like shooting fish in a barrel.
Right, and I think it's just personal preference. Like,
Yeah.
I like YouTube and I like Google Ads. Facebook, I only like Facebook to drive traffic outside of Amazon. I don't particularly like Facebook to do giveaways. I sort of, every time I do giveaway, it winds up costing me quite a bit cost per lead. And I think that's primarily because the majority of the people that are out there teaching it aren't teaching it properly. There's only one guy that I really truly believe is really good at teaching it. So
great. Okay. Yasmin said, I was ready to go for after Suppliers Tonight, but after listening to you guys on the seminar, I'm going to delay and watch all the videos you put in the Amazon area and the membership area. Yeah, that's great. You really, it's a great thing. You want to arm yourself. Yasmin, we've got this great information for you here, and Liz and Susan are like gladiators. So is Mike Bitler. So is Jack. They're all just doing a great job. Let's see. I'm just going to pull up. This is something that Brian Charles is saying. Actually, I'm going to bypass it for now until I understand it. Something about Google Chrome plugin. This is from Hunter again. All right, Kevin, I'm in Hawaii, so sending to me to package and then saying to Amazon would make it really expensive. Kevin, right? Kevin Jen. We'll have that information for you very soon on Kevin Jen. If it's an emergency, you can email me at omgmachines.com in terms of that warehouse that they have in LA. So if you have something that's coming that you really, really need help with right now, email me at omg@omgmachines.com. Otherwise, you can just wait for April to progress with our April and May for our documentary. Jay said, do you usually post comments on people's reviews, or should we start doing that?
Yeah, I definitely do it, especially on the negative ones, but also like on the positive ones. It's just pretty much like one of those routines that I do.
Okay, great. All right, this is Carlos following up on the Amazon Client Consulting. If we have a profit split agreement with them that we get 50% of the net profits, shouldn't we retain ownership of the new account, prevent them to take away all our hard work? Really, Carlos, then they could say the same thing to you. I mean, this is fundamentally, you're going to want to go into your law of implication training and understand how to properly partner with somebody. There's that's a question of proper partnership. And that's just kind of the bottom line. It's really, really different, like really broad question. I mean, if they'll go for it, I guess. But do you want to own everything in the world? Do you want to control everything in the world? I mean, I personally don't. So a lot of it's having to do with working with the right partners and building things up to things properly. Also, 50% is a lot to ask. You really have to bring a lot to the table to ask for 50% of the profits, which you may be able to do. I think Jack in a lot of cases does 20 to 30%. Bruce says, how important are super URLs for ranking keywords? We sort of answered this earlier, Bruce. We didn't have a super answer for it, so I'm just going to move on. That doesn't mean you're wrong. You could ask Jimmy Kelly that question, though.
It's actually super important, especially during giveaways.
Okay, great. So did you want to talk about that a little bit more?
No, I mean, that's the only place I use it, just on giveaways. But they're incredibly important because it's simulating a search on Amazon. So when you use a dynamic one that's constantly changing certain factors within the URL that Amazon is looking at, it creates like almost like the effect that somebody's actually searching that product on Amazon. So it definitely gives your product a boost.
Okay, great.
In the rankings, yeah.
Okay, this is from Christopher. How do you handle storing large amounts of packaging from China, 10,000 units at a time, when you only need 1,000 at a time? I don't know why you would do that, Christopher. I don't have an answer because I don't know why you'd have 10,000 packages.
Sometimes they require minimums when you actually order something. So you could do one of two things. A lot of times your supplier will, your manufacturer will store it for you for a fee, or and that's really about the only option that I can think of there, because now that I'm thinking about it, it really depends on the type of packaging that you have. If it's like a bag that seals versus a box, like a box, what you might be able to do is ship them over to the U.S. and either store them yourself or pay a service like Kevin and Jen if they actually, I believe they have a warehousing option as well, and then have the remaining pieces of the actual product be shipped to them for kitting. So they'll kit it for you. They have staff that'll kit the product for you.
Great.
Which basically means putting the product together in its like final, almost like retail form.
Great. From Jeff, tip: don't have a China supplier send directly to Amazon. We knew someone who refused Amazon's request to take over their product, and Amazon reverse engineered to find their supplier. It was sent to China. Yeah, this is a great tip.
And I tell people that all the time, but in some of the times they don't even listen to me. And the first time it goes well, but at some point, I just don't trust suppliers sending it directly to to Amazon. I prefer to use a service like Kevin and Jen that will do that for me and be sort of the middleman to figure out if something went wrong, but I don't like to do that. Yeah. I personally just don't feel, I can't sleep well at night knowing that. So it's either coming to my house. In fact, the other time ago, Kevin and I were talking about some disasters we've had. We have a product that's in the clothing niche, and when it got here, when it got to my house, it stunk. Yeah, if I had said that to Amazon, I mean, it would have been like, literally, just really bad. And the same thing happened to Kevin. So literally, I had to Febreze and do a bunch of sort of creative things to get that product prepped for Amazon. But had it gone directly to a customer, I mean, it would have just been really disastrous.
Great. What is Wirecast, Matt? Wirecast is something that we use with our YouTube videos to upload them and give us a rankings advantage. I can tell you haven't gone through our training in because it's really all over the place. We talk about Wirecast constantly. That's not a bad thing, but that's an indicator to me because it's in several different areas in your membership area. It's training with Joe Marfolio. It's in your over-the-shoulder series for the 2015 over-the-shoulder series for iOS SEO, and it's in the Elite Serum over-the-shoulder series, and it's in your Joe Marfolio training area as well. And so there's nothing wrong about that, but again, you really want to be on top of that. Okay, let's see. John Lilly here. Let's see what we got. Didn't get it. Whoops. I'm currently putting my product, which comes in a corrugated box, into another box, corrugated cardboard to protect it. If I use that second box as my FFP box with a label on it, like Mike Biller uses in OTS, does that box have to have enough room in it for a separate shipping label, or will Amazon put the product onto a separate shipping box?
So for starters, I'm not sure if they'll allow a box within a box. I'm not 100% sure, but I would look at the FFP guidelines or ask Michael in the message boards on the Facebook group if they can do that. So what typically needs to happen is there's also in the FFP guidelines, it tells you how much space you can have extra on each of the sides. So I would look at that. And in terms of the label, you have to put the actual label on it like Michael showed in the OTS series where he shows the labels that he got and where he ordered them and all that stuff. And what winds up happening, according to what Michael told me, is the package that you send it in is the package that Amazon actually ships it out in. That's what he told me. I wasn't aware of that. And so when he told me that, I was like, okay, well, it makes sense because all mine fit in poly bag mailers, like bubble mailers. So, again, I'm not sure about the whole box thing. You might even actually email, the Amazon FFP and ask them if it can be a box within a box. And they'll pretty much quickly tell you if you want to just do a sample one where you're doing the box within the box and send photos to them, because the rules are that your package has to be able to be opened in so much time. So I don't know the time, but it's in the guidelines.
Okay, great. This is just information from Theo. Mike, I just wanted to say that I use Joe's Wirecast training and I've ranked 2 videos for my buyer keywords that I see working well in Amazon ads, and both videos are on first page of YouTube within a few days. And in fact, one was page 5, and 3 days later is on page 1, averaging 5 to 10 views per day. No other SEO. Terrific, Theo. And once you start adding backlinks to that or embedding them in your PBNs, it's going to rocket into Google. And we've got some other stuff that we'll be adding later on. Okay, David already asked that question, so I'm going to skip that. Let's see. Okay, Jeff, I'll try not to do that. All right, let's see what we've got. Andrew. Let's see what this is. This is from Andrew. If you only have one product but you want to create a 2-pack, do you have to send to Amazon as a 2-pack, or will Amazon put 2 of your products and send 2 to the customer?
I'm trying to think. I usually put them in a 2-pack and package them like that, but I'm trying to think if you can actually do it the other way. I think you might be able to do it with a coupon, but I don't think so. Susan, I know you do some 2-packs. I usually put them as a 2-pack, but is there any other way?
2-packs I'm doing as merchant fulfilled, with the supply that I have here. It's a good idea to offer a 2-pack because it's a really easy way to get a child variation with lots of variations. I mean, you could do a buy one, get one free coupon to be a 2-pack, but then that's all you'd be selling for that particular item is a buy one, get one free as a 2-pack.
Right.
So, and if Amazon, if you do it that way with the buy one, get one free where they're getting 2, you're paying Amazon fees on both of them. So it doesn't matter for the commission, but for the base fee, if it's a little product and your base fee is $3.50, if you packaged them together and sent them in, maybe your base fee would be $4. But if you do the buy one, get one, your base fee is then $7. So there's a real cost benefit for you to package them yourself.
Together, right, yourself. Yeah, that's the only way I've done it, but I wasn't sure if I was like, maybe I'm missing something.
But you could do, if you don't have any at your home, you could do a removal order, which is pretty cheap, to bring some back, and then see if the 2-pack sells.
Yeah, because it might not even sell. It's like a test you have to sort of run.
Okay, great. Andrew says, on pay-per-click limits, sometimes Amazon determines later that your category is adult or jewelry, and they'll remove it from pay-per-clicks. Okay, it's good to know. Carlos says, so you have 6 different PCs and 6 different addresses, set up all 6 Amazon accounts. No, you can use
VPNs, yeah.
Yeah, VPNs. So you use VPNs. Okay, David says, let's see here. The question was, okay, sorry, that's not needed.
Oh yeah, no, they'll and anyway will work, David. It just sort of comes down to like an accounting thing after that. It can be accounting nightmare.
Okay. This is Tony. Liz, with your multiple Amazon accounts, are you using unique VPN connections? Yeah, we just said this. Per account for logging in.
Right. You could do it either way. You can ask Amazon for permission, which I've done, or you don't have to ask them and use the VPN. So like there's 3 accounts that I asked them for permission and they said yes, so I log into all those from the same IP, but the other ones I don't. The other ones I use a VPS. When I realized that you didn't have to ask them for permission.
Okay, great. And on the tax stuff, ultimately, you're just going to have to talk to an accountant. We're just not accountants here. Gary says, in the reviews, it says, was this review helpful? Do we as sellers click on the boxes, or does it have to be someone else?
Yeah, it should be someone else.
Okay, great.
I don't believe that your own, if you have an account, the same account that you're on, that you sell on, if you hit yes, I don't believe it counts, but I could be wrong. I know Susan might know more about this since she's an expert in reviews.
Well, I've heard that it doesn't count if you click on your own. The other thing that's important, though, is that it can't be the same someone else. In other words, you can't hire a virtual assistant to click the same virtual assistant to click helpful on all the reviews because those will be discounted. As well as if you have a private review club, or if you have a relationship with a top 500 reviewer who reviews all your products, it is discounted after 2 or 3 helpful votes on an individual person's reviews, that then your clicking up or clicking down doesn't help anymore. So in order to get to manage review helpful and review unhelpful, you need a very, very large team of people doing it. You can't, have your sister go through and do it all, because it just won't work.
Great. All right, this is somebody. I lost track of who asked this question. I was told not to use Bitly for Fiverr gigs because it's a no-follow. What's your take on this? It is a no-follow. Sometimes I use no-follow things to rank things. If you want to get down and dirty, you can ask Jimmy about it. Basically, no-following still pass juice, but that's a little bit deeper of an SEO question. Matt said, I want to be clear, I cannot just ask friends and family to go to Amazon to leave a product review without them having purchased the product on Amazon. Is that correct? If a customer purchases our product on that not on Amazon, can they go to Amazon and leave a review?
So this is just what I've heard, because I've never used friends or family for reviews because of the fact that it could sort of be like just pulling teeth getting them to leave the actual reviews. I find that I have more success asking strangers as opposed to like friends and family. So I've heard that they're getting pulled when it is sort of connected to your account in some way, shape, or form. And oh, I was just going to say one more thing, Susan, then you can chime in, because obviously you're the expert on this topic here. But the second thing is, when the person purchases it from an external website other than within Amazon, they can leave a review, but it's going to show as unverified. It's not going to show verified purchaser.
Yeah, there are 3 points here. One, friends and family, just don't deal with it. It's not worth it because it will be pulled. I even had a situation where my daughter's boyfriend's mother purchased the product and left a review, and the review was up and fine until we were both at a Super Bowl party at my daughter's house, and she used her phone and logged into her Amazon account from there, and the next day the review was gone. And this was a total, it's totally there, but if you log into a Kindle account from something and you cross IPs, Amazon knows and it goes. So I would ignore friends and family and just not deal with it. Unverified reviews are fine. There is a school of thought that says it's natural because people get things as gifts. So if you have a product that doesn't have any unverified reviews, it looks artificial. So having a few unverified reviews is a good thing. The second thing, what I did when I actually launched my first product, was I got 4 people to leave reviews with my sample. They were all unverified. After the product went live, they ordered it and then went in and edited it. And all you need to do is put a comma or something, and then that will shift the unverified review to a verified review after they've bought it. So if you have samples and want to go about start getting reviews before your listing is even live, so then you can drive traffic to the reviews and everything else, that's fine. And you can convert unverified reviews to verified reviews.
Right, so that's a really ninja tactic, actually, is sending your samples as for reviews already.
And then they'll be verified. So you can get your reviews before your listing is live. You can have reviews there for the product.
Great. Maria wants to know about how many products do you have, Liz?
Well, listed on Amazon, the products that are private labeled are 40-something. And the reason I say like something is because some of them are in transit, some of them are, I've got actual 9 that aren't even listed yet that are sitting here, and I haven't been able to get to them just because of this China trip. And I also still sell other people's products that are really hot. So like an example that I gave of that in one webinar was my favorite thing to sell last year, and I sold a boatload of it, was Frozen. This year I'm sort of loving Shopkins.
All right, great. This is from Yasmin. With your face serum made in the U.S. and beautiful packaging made in China, how do you handle the logistics and assembling the product packaging? Do you outsource it in the States? Tim has a warehouse.
That's kidding, yeah.
What's that?
That's a perfect example of kidding in Kevin and Jen.
Yeah.
Tim's got, like you said, what you were about to say.
Yeah. So he's got somebody who kits it for them. If anybody's like imminently getting ready to do something, you can email me at omg@omgmachines.com, and I'll give you Kevin Jen's contact info. And if you can wait, then it's just better to wait. Paula, let's see what Paula's saying here. Wanted to share this resource for creating free, maybe organic rank tracker. Okay, so this is the Moz build an Amazon rank tracker. So I guess you could just type in Moz build an Amazon rank tracker. That's fine. Thank you, Paula.
I'll definitely test that out, see how that works.
This is Carlos. Get the blinders off. We do have 3 competitors with signed contracts, 50% binder split. Carlos,
Sick.
I'm doing a 50% profit split myself. I'm not saying you can't do. I don't believe I have the blinders on. What I'm saying is just be aware that asking for 50% and then asking for control of the account. I mean, some people will go for it, some people won't. So that's that's one of the reasons why we have Cotton Grammar's training. It's just so extraordinary for how to work with clients, for example, so that you can certainly. But that's great. Congratulations. We're really, really happy for you. It's fantastic news. Norman, how do you go about figuring out where your competition is sourcing their products from? How do you reverse engineer competition sourcing? Any ninja tricks?
There is like a database, and I forget what it is, where you can actually pay for a subscription. It'll tell you, like, if you know your competition's like official company name, you can actually see all the stuff that they had brought in from China. I can't recall the name, but I've never signed up because I really don't care where they source it from. I guess I'm trying to source myself and source a better product than them, and or a product with extra bonuses. So I've really never thought about caring like where they're sourcing it from. But there is a website. It's a huge database of importing information, and you can find out where your competition is importing things from and all the products that they're importing. With that being said, but I don't recall the name of it, again, because I've never actually had the need or the desire to use it.
Okay, great. Jay said, is it better to use a pre-sale or landing page for Google pay-per-clicks or YouTube ads? Can we use opt-in pages with some content on these ad platforms?
It's just going to be niche dependent, and also what stage are you along in sort of like building your brand. Like if you're already got like a legitimate brand on Amazon, you might want to use a squeeze page with some opt-ins so you can start collecting emails. But I think initially when I first start something, I'm just sending it direct to Amazon because I want it to just be faster. I want to get people on the page and potential sales as opposed to collect email addresses, because I really have no like visibility as a brand at all. So I think it's just one of those things that could also be niche dependent. So that's kind of how I do it. At first, it's with speed in mind, and then secondly, as the brand's established, it's with brand visibility kind of in mind.
Great. Neural said, when searching for new products, do you look for specific BSR and reviews before deciding if the product is viable? If so, what's the range?
Yeah, so what I look for is, in terms of BSRs, like what I really want to see is just even just one, that's like below the 1,000 mark, just to have an idea that the stuff's selling, and then maybe a couple under 3. So I don't really have any particular guidelines, but I want to make sure the number one thing is that there's not, like in a niche like that, I would want to make sure that there's nobody that has like an obscene amount of reviews. So I really want 2 people that don't have an obscene amount of reviews. But if there's one that has like over 1,000 and 2 that don't, like in the top 3, I still think that's kind of like it's decent to go after, because you can still sit pretty at spot 2 or 3. So really, I don't have like a particular BSR that I look at. I just want to see that people are selling it. So you'll be able to see one of the tools that I use for this, and it's called Azon Seller Tools. I use it specifically for just one of the tools, and I think it's like amazing. It's my favorite tool to use. It helps me quickly survey like the entire landscape of any given product based on keyword.
Okay, great. All right, Christopher says it's, I believe Import Genius is the name of the
There you
service.
go. That's the name of it, right?
Thank you.
So I've never looked at it, but I've seen it in action. Somebody's actually showed it to me in action, but again, I've never had the need for it because like I really don't care what they're sourcing. I just try to source better or source more uniquely, if that makes any sense.
Okay. All right. All right. All the rest of the questions are going to be after this one are going to be on our final topic. So I'll just put this up and then we'll so this is again legal. Yeah, and maybe at some point we'll put up a quick best practices on legal entities and then just kind of drop it, because otherwise we're just turning into accountants and that's not what we are. Is it best from an SEO conversion perspective for each of your brands to have a separate legal entity? I mean, again, you're looking like really, that's a resource management question, Christopher. It's not just as easy as saying, hey, I'm going to just do a legal entity. I mean, then you have to do the tracking for it. You have to do taxes for it separately, and that's not very nice. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I just usually put different brands in a different LLC and then focus the SEO on just the brand page.
Okay, great. All right. So first of all, we actually just did 2 hours of question and answer. So let's please get a huge thank you in the Facebook thread. And I would like to say we still have well over 100 people online today. So I'd really like to see over 100 thank yous for Liz and for Susan. Thank you. I think that's they've been overwhelmingly generous today.
Yeah, and they can just remember, anybody that puts the hashtag Blue Devil can send me a question for my private message. So hashtag Blue Devils are always welcome.
Okay, so we've got hashtag thank you Elizabeth Herrera, hashtag thank you Susan Ann McDowell, and hashtag Blue Devils. That's what we're looking for here. We want to see it. We want to see a bunch
Let's go, Duke.
Yeah, it's certainly showing people real easy how to get on my good side, that's for sure. So if you ever
Yeah.
want to know how to get on my good side, that's all it takes.
And how often, I mean, March Madness is one time a year. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're going to wrap things up with a bit of a preview as to where we're going with things. And this is actually the number one reason I wanted to get Susan on here today, although she was awesome throughout. Um, so we have a software. It's an OMG exclusive coming out, and while Liz and I were recording training on it with the inventor of the software and with Brian Williams, who brought it to us, with Mark, the inventor of the software, something really kind of hit me. Now, something that Liz has been saying for a while to me is that product giveaways are so important. Okay. We're showing you other things that are also important, protecting your product. Of course, there's some other things with conversion. We're teaching you about SEO and so forth. And really, the kind of the backbone of what we're doing is going to be our reviews. And if the backbone of what we're doing is getting reviews, then product giveaways become literally very, very important. Now, of course, there's a lot of training out there from ASM. Certainly, if you're getting ASM through Rapid Crush, then that's something that is wise. And separately, though, the ASM system, and it's worthwhile to be aware of this. The idea is that you should go for top 100 products, and then you should use product giveaways, but you should use friends and family. And not for everybody. You could be somebody with a massive Italian family like Joe Marfolio. I'm sure that Cotton Grammar could get a lot of friends and family to review something. But if you don't have like some massive Italian family and that you can help explain to them not to log onto their Google Kindles or their Amazon Kindle marketplace and get things good. The point is, there are some people that can make this strategy together work. There really are. Okay. But there's just a lot of people who don't have hundreds of friends and family. I'll tell you this right now: if I had to get 20 friends and family to post reviews on things, I'd be strapped to do that. And so the thing is that what Liz did to really get ahead is she built a private review club. And this is one of the reasons why Liz was so excited, literally so excited about getting Mandy involved, for example, is because Mandy could be kind of in a sense part of your private review club, and she could also be a bargaining chip to get other top reviewers to join you, for example. Okay, but Liz has worked on building this private review club. Let me explain something. So there are public review clubs, and like basically by private, I mean in this case means exclusive to you. Okay. Now there are public review clubs where you can get other people to review your stuff. And the truth is, they're working like crazy right now. Okay, they're really, this is so much better than, for example, using friends and family. And you can even use something like Zonblast, and that's going to be far, 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 far better than, how do you spell Zonblast?
I think it's Z-O-N Blast. No E.
Okay. And you can use Zonblast, and there are merchants that are using this incredibly effectively. Okay, and that said, if you really want to step up to the big leagues, I'll just give you a quick SEO lesson here. So back in say 2009, 2010, even into 2011. There were things called public blog networks. And this is like Unique Article Wizard. SYA, Build My Rank. They're all different kinds of services that were out there where you could essentially just pay them money. They would send links to your website and they would rank. And these were very powerful. And then this is a lot of what happened with Penguin and Panda, were that these got slaughtered. Okay. And people that had links from these sites lost those sites. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen with reviews that you've gotten from public review clubs. It may or may not happen. I don't know. I literally don't know. That's not even the purpose of what I'm saying here. What is interesting, though, and I was talking to Greg about this actually just yesterday, Greg Morrison, is if he could have gone back. Now Greg, by the way, made like millions of dollars leveraging public blog networks. So I'm not saying don't use that it wasn't smart to use public blog networks. It was literally very, very smart to use public blog networks. That said, the reality of things is that if Greg had been using private blog networks back in 2009, 2010, and 2011, he believes that he would have made 10 times as much money. It would have been 10 times easier because private blog networks are so powerful. Private blog networks where you have exclusive control. Okay. Exclusive access, I should say, is a better way of putting it. Now, parallels are not always, I'm using this as a parallel. This is not a one-for-one parallel because Google and Amazon are just simply not the same thing. However, it is a useful analogy. It's a useful parallel because building a private review club is something that we want all OMGers who are interested in Amazon to do. And we have powerful resources to help you with this. Powerful, powerful resources. Susan can help you with this. Our training can help you with this. And then we have awesome software that's coming soon to help you with this. So with that introduction, Liz, what's the deal with private review clubs and why should people just become obsessed with PRCs?
Well, it's because they literally have reviews on tap. So like you can constantly send them things and they'll exchange their review in exchange for your product. So that's part of the reason why they're like really like, it's just right now the sexiest thing that there is. But again, we talked about public review clubs and you really don't know where they got these people from. You really don't know a lot of different things about the people that are on the list. You don't know if they're properly groomed to actually leave an Amazon review, because when you give somebody a product for $1 versus give it to them for free, when you give something to somebody for free, they should be putting on their review that they left this review in exchange for a unbiased feedback. Because if you don't have that and Amazon decides to do their sweeps, you're going to lose a lot of reviews. So the reason that private review clubs are so powerful is just because of the fact that in like Keith's instance, he's constantly getting these 1-star from obviously a competitor that's doing it on purpose because they know he's a force to be reckoned with. And so if he has this like private review club, he just pretty much has to tap into that and have his people leave reviews for him. And plus, like we talked about in that webinar with Mark, it gives you the ability to build relationships with these people, and pretty soon they'll be like promoting your product to like their particular network of people. So I always team up, and I got a bunch of these bloggers off of Susan's list that now, like, I mean, they're like, hey, send me whatever you've got. I'll take anything, and I'll review it, and then I'll tweet it out to my 40,000 Instagram followers, or tweet it out to my 40,000 Twitter followers, and my 1,000 Instagram people will see the pictures and all this. So they're literally out there promoting your brand for you. So it's really beneficial to kind of create this club and sort of develop relationship with the people that are on that list.
Susan's so passionate about this subject, and we talked about it yesterday. I can hear her steam's coming out of her ears. She's so excited to talk about this. Susan, what's the scoop?
Well, the scoop is, I mean, in being an old SEO person, there was always the expression, the money's in the list. And really, when you're talking about business and you're talking about products and you're talking about Amazon, it's really not about products. It's all about the customers. You know, you need your people. your army, your tribe, whatever you call it. You need your people, and that's what a list is. And the first thing you need to start doing, even before your listing is fleshed out, is start building your list. And once you have your list, you can do anything. Because you can control giveaways. You can make sure Amazon changed the rules about a month ago. There now needs to be a disclaimer if there's any discount at all, whereas some people still think it's just free and they don't know what the rules are in terms of reviews. These groups out there that are public review clubs, some are free, some charge. You don't know what they're telling their people. And if they are telling their people, make sure you give a mix of 3, 4, and 5 reviews so you don't get thrown out as a reviewer. You don't want to be one of those people that gets the 3 or the 4 just because they think, they can balance it out and look that you have a lot of 5s. If the review group admin tells the reviewers something that's not legit, you can lose the review, not only the reviews, but you can lose your listing, because Amazon is very, very sensitive to the legitimacy of reviews, because it's how people make decisions. So the only way to really make sure that the people have your back and that someone else isn't going to get you in trouble by what they're saying, even though you see all the ads saying, we do it the right way, we're honest. You're talking about your livelihood here, is to control it yourself.
Well,
so you need to build
Susan,
a list.
Susan, of course they're going to say whatever they want to say because they want you to do something, right? Like
right.
they want your products. And here's the bottom line is, Liz, this is about power and speed. It's about power and speed. Liz, what happens when you put up a new listing?
In terms of what, Mike, when I put up a new listing?
Power and speed. What happens?
Oh, yeah, power and speed, yeah. Definitely, that's what it's about. It's about speed. That's my favorite thing to focus on. I know a lot of people are really heavily into trademarks and stuff like that immediately, but I usually put them up for power and speed because I can always change it in after it's been up for a month or so.
Yeah, I got a message last night from somebody who's on his second product, and he hasn't been real successful with either of them. One of the things, because I told him he needs to give away more, and he keeps saying, "Oh, my product's so expensive, I can't afford it." And he messaged me last night, and he said, "How did you get 33 reviews on this product that you just launched? How did you get 33 video reviews?" He said, "They're all 5-star video reviews. How did you get them?" I said, "Well, I used my people, and I did a giveaway." But he was shocked. 33 video reviews, from people that are raving fans that have reviewed other products, and they actually mention the other products and link to them in their reviews because they're my people. And every one of you out there who's building an Amazon business needs your people. And we can help you get them, but you need to think of them as your people, and it does take more work than writing somebody a check. You can do a Zon Blast, which is great from time to time, but you're going to write them a check, and they're still going to be Zon Blast people. They're not going to be your people. But if you do the work for the review follow-up, they're going to be your people.
Let's get
and that's what you need for power and speed.
Yeah, this is serious business. I was on a webinar with Greg for hours last night on private blog networks and the power of it. And I just did the hashtag PRC. Again, I'd like to see every last person who's on this event give us a hashtag PRC. And I want you to walk away. If there's one thing and one thing only, I would like you to walk away from this event with is the beginning of an obsession. Because if you really care about Amazon, then this is your unadulterated, overwhelming advantage. This is the basis of things. We're getting in on this early. People do not realize, Liz, people are not talking about this in Amazon circles. Is that correct?
Right. Well, the people that know that they're super powerful, even the people that know that they're super powerful, it's literally taken them. I know a guy that's at 1 million regularly, even not including Christmas months, that he's making that on a monthly basis, and he is barely at the point where he's got a list of 2,000 people in his private review club, and it took him 3 or 4 years to get that 2,000 people. And he's like one of the biggest brands on Amazon, and it took him that long to get this list of conditioned people. And in a minute here, people are going to be like, realize why this is like why we're leading up to this, but it takes a while to build that private review club, and it's actually like work. Like, people don't understand that it's work to manage all these. You can just ask Susan, because she has a pretty nice size list, and sometimes you're having to manage personalities in addition to all the other things that you have to sort of take on. But it's well worth that. It's well worth it to work on it. And that's the thing that I usually recommend people start doing while they're sitting and waiting for product to get to Amazon or to them from the supplier themselves, is start working on your PRC, because when you work on that, even if you just get like 50 people, or you have 50 people, that's almost 50 reviews you have instantly when you launch. I mean, sure, you got to give away 50 units, but think of the dramatic impact that when you don't have to wait around for reviews. These people are conditioned to leave you reviews. Think of how dramatic that would be for any launch that you actually do, and that's just the start of it.
And this is the point, is that every time you have a product, it's an opportunity to build your PRC. And I'm almost concerned that we don't have enough hashtag PRCs. It's like, are you listening? Now, of course, you can't. I know we've been going on for a while with Q&A and stuff like that. You easily could have missed it. But I mean, like, if you care about Amazon, if you care about having an overwhelming advantage, then how do I not have like more PRCs? How many do I have here? Like three? 3 people said hashtag PRC. Like three out of, it's just unbelievable to me. I'm really like, I mean, we can just, I don't know, I can just peace out. Like, Liz and I, me and Liz and Susan, we're going to go day drinking. We're going to head out and watch the Blue Devils pregame. That's, we got three hashtag PRCs. Someone deleted theirs. We're now down to 2. We're now down to 2 hashtag PRCs. Nobody even cares. Well, why don't you guys just start typing in hashtag Spartans while you're at it?
Hey, Mike, I guess they don't want to see how to build a PRC instantly. I guess they're not interested in how. It just doesn't seem
like you're interested. I just don't. I don't know
You
where
haven't
this is
even given
going.
them your secret sauce yet, Mike.
Well, no, but they don't want it. We're now down to 1 hashtag PRC. The other person, and what's up with all these hashtag Spartans too? Now they're just trying to provoke us.
Yeah, I should just unfriend those people.
No PRC for you.
I really, that's great. Yeah, there we go. Patrick is chanting hashtag PRC. Dinker's trying to make up for everybody else. I met him at Jason's terrific ASM Masters event. Okay. All right, we finally got 4. We finally got 4. People's Republic of China. No, Christopher. No. PRC is Private Review Club. This is your private review club. And by really obsessing yourself with this, taking pride in it, caring about it, realizing that every single time that you launch a new product, that it is an opportunity for you to build your PRC, to flex the muscles of your PRC, because it's kind of like a feedback loop between the two. Liz, if you had to build a PRC from scratch, and all you had was some new products you were going to launch, and let's say Susan's help, and let's say a little piece of software that we're going to debut in a week or so, how long would it take you to build a PRC of, let's say, 1,000 reviewers?
It really just depends on how many units I'm comfortable giving out immediately. And for me, the answer would be like, I'll give away 2,000 today if I know I can get 2,000 people. So
how long do you think you could build it in 6 months?
No, I think with those 2 pieces of software, the piece of software we're talking about in Susan's help, I'm pretty positive that I'm going to have 2,000 in a week. It'll be the week I get back from China.
5 months?
5 months for growing it, like without the stuff?
No, I'm just being sarcastic. Hashtag sarcastic.
Okay, I was like, well.
So you literally believe that you could, like, if you really zeroed in, you really focused on it, you could build So you're saying a guy with $1 million a month business took 4 years and like spending 40 grand a month to build a little puny 2,000 person PRC, who even knows how healthy it is. You're saying that you could build 1,000 person PRC in 1 week.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now can I have some hashtag PRCs? Because I hope you're real serious about what she just said. For Keith Baxter, who's sitting there getting, every time you get a 1-star review, how about just turning the dogs loose?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Jacob and David and Dave Keys and Hunter, who gave me a hashtag Christian. I love Christian Leitner. Like, that guy's got bonus points. Hunter.
Christian Leitner, wasn't he from like the 1980s?
Yeah, they actually sell T-shirts. Kentucky people sell T-shirts to say I still hate Christian Leitner. But
that's funny.
What's his name? Hunter just told me hashtag I love Christian Leitner. So that guy,
Oh,
Hunter,
yeah.
you got bonus points.
He was a Cleveland Cavalier shortly. I liked him too. He was just for a little while, anyways. Okay, so we're getting some hashtag PRCs. All right. No, I want this to be serious. Susan, if someone does a Zomblast, about what percentage? And Zomblast is good, by the way. This is no straw man. We're not like making fun of something that's crappy. Zomblast is very powerful. What percentage of people will you get a review from? So let's say I send out 100 products. On average, how many reviews will I get?
About 15. Zomblast is running at about 15%.
And then out of those 15 people, how many are now in my network?
Well, they're only in your network if you get their email list. The fact that they've done a review for you on Amazon, you don't get their information. And most of the groups out there, and I haven't done a Zomblast, I think Liz may have, don't give you their people's information. When you pay them for reviews or you get reviews, you'll probably get the names and the order numbers, but you won't get their private email address, so they're not on your list. I'm just going to give out one ninja tactic that somebody can do on their own today, even if they don't have a product to start their list. If you've built a Facebook page, which is one of the important things getting your product going, just put a post there that's saying you're going to be launching such and such a product on such and such a date, and you're going to give it away for free, and you want people to sign up here with their email address so that they can get a free one.
I like
and it. Guaranteed, I don't know how many Facebook fans you have, but there's the start of your PRC. And then you can use all of these other tactics to flesh it out. But there is no excuse for anyone on this webinar today not to start building the PRC as soon as they're off it.
That's funny. Serena just pointed out that threads in all three of the groups are getting comments. So she feels like I'm not giving fair credit, but I'm just being sarcastic, Serena. This is how I do it. It's how it's done. But anyways, we definitely appreciate you all. So okay, so first of all, one of the wonderful resources that we have before we get to talking about the software, it is so cool that we have Susan here, not just informationally, not just to have her spirit and her energy as a member of our group, but Susan has a very powerful service, and she's been allowing OMGers to cut to the front of the line to use this service. And in a lot of ways, well, first of all, Zomblast are like $400 at this point per blast. Susan's allowing you to use her service for free. That's number one. There's quite a bit of power in it. And what's your review percentage out of 100?
Well, it depends. If you use it on the Facebook page and you work it carefully. I don't know, Liz, how many did you get out of those 40? How many reviews did you get out of the 40 people we did on the page for you? The crazy beauty peeps.
Oh, I got quite a bit. I think I got about 20, but I haven't followed up with the rest of them. Obviously, that's still on my list to do, so I do plan on following up to them.
That's a 50%, 50% instead of 15%. Oh,
but you know what? Wait a minute.
But those were video reviews.
Yeah, those were videos, so that's a different thing. That's incredible. I almost got like 80-some% of actual reviews.
Okay, so 80% reviews. 50%.
And I haven't done a follow-up, right? I haven't done a follow-up, so I'm pretty sure when I do the follow-up,
Yeah.
those people will go ahead and follow up. But as a result of actually doing that, Susan had quite a bit of beauty bloggers in that actual space, and now I've been able to create relationships with these beauty bloggers, and they did giveaways for me to their people that were dependent.
Wow, very powerful. So one of the things is that Susan has her own. It's not a private. It's her own deal. It's like I'm not going to like really stick a label on it. It's just
No, I have my list. And
right. Obviously, yeah. Obviously, you have your own. Yeah.
In other words,
PRC.
I do newsletter blasts that I can do for people, and the blasts for me, and I only know for me, but that's probably because they love me. I get 50 to 60% when I do a blast of a product. Will get reviews in my newsletter. Then I grow my newsletter through. I have a Facebook page where I give products away for free in exchange for reviews. Anyone who uses that gets the email addresses, and you can get. I have people that get 100% of the reviews from that. Plus, they get the email addresses, so they can start working relationships and put that in their list. Plus, it's a public Facebook page. It has a page authority of 47 because it's an old, seasoned page with lots of backlinks to it.
Wow.
So it's something that I did. Because when I started this, I didn't know anybody, and I'm like, what resources do I have? How can I do this? So I went back to my SEO brain and what I had and started building a list because I wasn't sure how I'd use the list, but I knew I needed it, and I'm more than willing to share that with all of you, as well as help you, develop your own PRC, and that's because you can help each other. Because if there are two people in the beauty niche, you can trade lists. You can do promotions for each other, and I'd really like to see everybody in OMG building these PRCs.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll have this network of PRCs that can be used to, rocket anybody up to the top of the food chain. I mean, Mike Long has put something incredible together here for you guys.
I think I deserve. What do you think? Like 99% of the credit? Like, what do you get? Like 1% for just putting together this whole thing, and Liz, and so, you guys can fight over the other percent. No, obviously this is really something extraordinary. Liz, first of all, Liz recruited Susan to jump into our community. Although Susan, you actually had a wonderful experience with an OMGer with Stephen Floyd, who actually literally helped you amazingly. And so anyway, she was already very positively disposed towards OMG. But no, I mean, this is just a wonderful situation that we have, that Liz is quarterbacked, that she's point guarded for us, that she's called the plays and put it all together for us. Even though weren't you a shooting guard? You were a...
Yeah, I was a pretty good shooting guard actually, but I was a better entrepreneur, so I had to make a decision early on. I definitely was not going to be a professional basketball player.
Yeah. Let's get some stickers for Susan and for Liz. This is incredible. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence, and as we head towards Easter, this is really a time when I'm just especially grateful for all of you and for what we have going on here. I just think that it's just awesome. Like that, these are awesome, unique resources. They're just not out there. Nobody else has them. They're exclusive. They're just awesomely powerful. Wow, I like that dancing weird looking guy.
Minion. It's a minion. Liz
Pretty
probably sells minions.
Pretty cool.
Yes, I do sell lots of minions. I love them.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So what we're gonna do? So that's Susan, who's just awesome. She's a rock star, and it's just extraordinary to have this involved. Bill's getting to his day drinking a little early. I hear you, Bill. Dave Keys. It's great, Dave. I like this one. Dang, Liz, that's a good one. How do you steal these things? I should just be able to click on it and have it. I don't know. That's pretty cool. Anyways, I'll figure it out. Let's getting some energy into this. And Liz, we've got a software coming out that really complements this. And between what this training that we're giving you, between this idea of really getting your PRCs down, the training, and then what Susan is opening her vault door to, exclusive to OMGers, just so powerful. Liz, can you give us a sneak preview of the software that we're going to be sharing as early as the next week?
Right. So you just want me to talk about it?
Just as much as you want to, or be as cryptic or as clear as you want to be.
Alrighty. So what this software actually does is it's able to take the and I know when you hear this, let me first sort of like explain, and then I'll go over why this software is superior to anything that there is out in the market. So what it does is it takes the top 10,000 reviewers, and it literally, you can search by keyword based on what you want to see that they've reviewed. So for example, let's say you're in the supplement, or let's just say you're in vitamin C serum, and you want to see anybody that's reviewed a vitamin C serum in the top 10,000. You just plug in your keyword, which in this case would be vitamin C serum, and it's going to spit out instantly, in less than a second, it's going to spit out every single person that has left a review with vitamin C serum that's in the top 10,000. And in addition to that, what you can do is have it only give you the people that have email addresses. So if you check off email address, it's just going to show the people with email addresses, and you can easily just go through the list, like I said, in less than a second, and you can have your VA actually go in there and then email the people. And the creator's even actually going to include the email templates that he uses to get 85% response rate from these reviewers. In addition to that, you can also search by ASIN, which means that you can just put in your competitors, and let's say you know that your product is like superior to your competitor's product. You can search by ASIN, and it's going to spit out everybody that's reviewed that product that's in the top 10,000 that's left reviews. You can take a look at how many reviews they've left, etc., all that good stuff. And from that, you'll be able to just sort of decide who you want to email. And again, you can have this easily outsourced. He's going to give us some templates and all sorts of other exciting stuff. But literally, you'll be able to, you can build as big a list as you want, either by yourself or with your VA within how, you can put whatever time you want to into it. So I'm pretty sure that based on some of the niches that I'm in, I see some email addresses that are well into the I've seen I think I searched, we were doing a test the other day, I think it was you and I, or it might have been me and the creator of it, but there were some niches that had thousands and thousands of emails. So it's just a huge potential to grow that list immediately. And if you think about it, if you're selling vitamin C serum, you don't necessarily just have to target vitamin C serum. You can target something like facial moisturizer. So you can literally grow a targeted list almost overnight.
So basically it stinks. We lost you there for a second, Liz.
Oh, I said basically doesn't deserve the hashtag PRC.
Let's get some hashtag PRCs going. This is really powerful. We've prepared for hours and hours and hours to share this with you. And this is an OMG exclusive software. It is an OMG exclusive software. It is only available to OMGers. People who are not OMGers are out in the cold. They're shivering and shaking and crying in their milk. And not that we want them to, but that's what's going on. So you can look forward to that being in your members area, but only if we get a lot more than 2 hashtag PRCs, because this is pretty.
The other thing that I just wanted to mention, Mike, is that like I said, I've seen the one just recently released where it promised to do all that stuff, and then when I tried to run it, it was just so ridiculous because it froze up. And if I tried to run more than looking at more than 100 reviews, it would completely freeze up. So the thing I love about this one is it's fast, and I can just get my VA in there to sort of copy and paste the email addresses, and then I can furthermore get my VA to send out the emails to them, and then wait for the response. So literally, it's like building a list on steroids, and you can have as many as you want as either you or your VA can do within the day. So I can have a VA that's entirely devoted to promotions and giveaways and manage this, and then manage in turn who's left reviews, and then sort of prune them out.
So this is a big deal, guys. Like, you can really tell that we take these. I have Jack's VA working on something for me here, while Jack's in Boston. This is something that we're taking very, very, very seriously. If you think about it, have you ever considered how powerful if you took like all the OMGers private blog networks and just thought to yourself, like, what could they rank? Well, like, what couldn't they rank? Just the awesome overall power that they have. We'll just start thinking about all of the all the private review clubs that you're going to have at your fingertips, at your disposal. And what if you want to do, by the way, some partnering with product? Then do you think it's going to be a little bit easier, Liz, to partner with product if you're able to explain to somebody that you have a massive, powerful PRC?
Absolutely, and I think Brian Williams, when we're in that video, he touches upon this strategy that is he actually using to manage his clients, getting them reviews. So he's actually using this for not himself, but his actual clients. So it's like super powerful. Somebody like Carlos, who said he got 3 relationships, 3 contracts for already 50%. I mean, doesn't that pretty much makes you like the guy to go to sell an Amazon product for a company, because you already have this list of people, and not just you can have that list almost like within the week, and not just that, but it's going to be targeted people that are fans of that particular product or fit that product demo.
So what you're saying is, if you were to use, let's say, Cotton Grammar style, deal making, to partner with product, to partner with somebody who has a product, then not only are you obviously going to make profit from using these OMG Amazon techniques, but you're also going to be inherently building your PRC that's a permanent advantage.
Definitely. And not just that, you're going to build these targeted PRCs, which is the key, because let's say you have, in one case, let's say you're selling a testosterone booster. The people that have reviewed testosterone booster are not going to be the same people that are reviewing vitamin C serum, or they might, but like let's just say something that's like really just for a woman. Like, let's just say they're reviewing, I'm trying to think of something. Anybody give me an idea that just a woman would use?
A tampon? Sorry.
Okay, well, let's just say tampons. The people reviewing tampons are not going to be the same people reviewing testosterone boosters. So
Right.
It's really, you have a targeted list with your particular demographic, which is like very powerful, because I'm sure you can ask Susan, within her list, I don't think she would get very many takes on a testosterone booster, because I think her list is more female driven, but I could be wrong there.
Well, actually, we're one of my products that you think is a female product. For some reason, it's men love it, but no, but their interests are not in testosterone boosting. But the really special thing about this isn't the people aren't interested in it, but it's the knowledge and the passion they have for it. So, someone who just reviews anything, if they take the vitamin C serum, would say, oh, yeah, it smells good, makes my skin work great. Somebody who has a passion for vitamin C serum will be able to do a much more detailed and better review that's going to help your conversions, and it's also going to help you rank, because the keywords that are used in reviews are used by the Amazon algorithm to help you rank. So if somebody is writing good quality content, we're back to basic SEO, for the review, it's going to be better for you. And the better person to write good quality content is going to be someone who knows the topic.
This is just so powerful. And I hope everyone's like starting to soak this in. This is something that that we're unleashing here, and it's just so powerful. And it's just such, because again, with OMG, we're about an overwhelming advantage. And remember, what we're talking about are all top 10,000 reviewers. Okay, so these are all top 10,000 reviewers that you're able to contact and take advantage of, and really join forces with. And so this is just so powerful, and we have a lot of fun here. So let's finish things off with your favorite sticker and a hashtag Go Blue Devils. Actually, let's do Go Blue Devils Go. Go Blue Devils Go. And I know I'll be really rooting them on. I wonder if they have Blue Devil stickers. Can you actually search for them? I bet they do.
I don't actually know how to work stickers. Stickers are like a mystery to me.
Let's try
I just
devils.
put the generic ones.
See what we got for devil.
I've seen a lot of great stickers today, though. I'm
Devil
probably going to be
dog.
spending more time than I need to on this feed stealing stickers later.
Yeah.
Right. I'm probably going to be trying to investigate how to put a sticker, like your own sticker.
Oh, you're making your own sticker. Wow,
Oh,
Power
I've
Girl.
done that. Yes,
Dave.
I've done that. You can do that. I'm not going to tell you the topic I did it for, Liz, but yes, you can do that. I've done it.
I love that I'm giving thank yous. I didn't do anything, but I appreciate it. Let's see what we can do for devils. Well, I already got this dog. That's a pretty good one. Like, which one of these guys looks blue? It's the bluest. Oh, look at that. There we go. Dave Key's got it hooked up.
Yeah, I see Victoria got Go Blue Devils. I know Brian does for sure, but Victoria just moved up on my list.
People be like, what? Why is OMG so pro Duke? What's going on? We got 100 gave the Blue Devils. They customized it with hashtag PRC, hashtag boom.
And Duke is not where Liz played basketball, just for all of those that are doing these tags who don't know that.
Bill Cox stole Patrick Monome's little shadow dancing dude. You thought the OMG was so pro Harvard? Yeah, Christopher, that's the one. It's awesome. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. Today has been just a wonderful example of that. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes into it. We answered questions for well over 2 hours. We explained the PRC thing, and then we spent about another hour cheering on the Blue Devils. So, by the way, is Grant Hill your favorite? Who's your favorite?
All-time player?
Yeah.
That's Christian Leitner.
Christian Leitner. Oh, right, of course.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Makes sense. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I really hope that you go to bed tonight with just visions of building this powerful PRC that just lets you, just churn out product after product after product, that allows you to partner with product, that allows you to be leveraged, that allows you to not just launch products, but supercharge your current products and make them more powerful. It's going to be a real awesome force for you. And of course, we're still going to be doing our SEO. We're still going to be doing, smart stuff with, pay-per-clicks, and we're going to still do smart stuff, of course, with product getting, and I mean, all that stuff, it'll all work together. But with that backbone of the PRC, we're just going to really, really zoom ahead, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Kathy gave us a hashtag overwhelming advantage. That's exactly right. Let's do that. Let's do hashtag overwhelming advantage. Hashtag overwhelming advantage. And I want to, once again, of course, I want to thank Susan again. Just incredibly generous. And I want to thank, of course, our fearless point guard, Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, one last thing I was just going to mention to everybody, Mike, is always ask your questions in the form. We'll get in there and answer them. It might take me more than a day or so, but they'll get answered. So don't be afraid to ask just even a question they think is not good. Yeah, you can ask your questions in the Amazon group as well. Now, Liz, you actually have a new Instagram page for that maybe we should start signing people up for our trip. Yeah, I think I do, but I don't even know what it is. I'm going to figure out how to use it. I'm like a social media noob. But okay. I think, I believe it's Danger Girl. I don't know. I'll post it before we leave so we can make sure to keep everybody updated. Yeah, everyone get ready. We have an Instagram page that you can follow our trip to China with. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's actually Danger Girls, but let me spell it out in the, I'll still update it when we actually leave. I'll put a post so everybody knows. So I put it in there just in case anybody needs it, and then before we leave, we'll make sure to put it in there. Oops. All right. So Liz put it in there. So it's we'd love for you all to sign up for our Instagram page. We'll be able to follow along with us. So where was it? It probably got buried in positive comments here. Did you place it in the thread? Yeah, I put it in the thread. Hopefully I'm in the right thread.
You might not be in the right thread. Jump into the main Facebook group. Yeah, I see it because the Amazon Facebook group has a lot too.
Okay, I put it in both threads.
All right, great. Yep, Danger Girls. Oh, you spelled it with an I. All right.
Yeah, it's the only one I could get that was close.
All right, cool. All right, so Danger Girls. So I'll put this Instagram Danger Girls. All righty, we had a lot of fun today. This was an amazing event. I hope you really enjoyed it. Leave your thank yous and leave your stickers. And thank you all for jumping in and joining us. God bless all of you. Have a happy and wonderful Easter, and we will see you next time. God bless you.